Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show where, after 2 weeks of audio issues, they magically fix themselves. I'm your host, Ryan Knightsey, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. We have a lot to talk about today. I am totally not overwhelmed with all the wrestling that I've had to watch and have to continue watching over the next week. Not at all. I would never be overwhelmed. I'm very overwhelmed. There's too much.
You're famously never overwhelmed at anything.
Yeah, famously never overwhelmed. I think if you said anyone to that in my life, they would laugh. But it's okay because we move forward. And we have a lot to talk about today, so I'm going to stop rambling.
Yeah, we have a jam-packed show for you all today. Of course, we got to kick off the show with the G1 Climax finals that took place this morning. So spoiler warnings if you haven't talked about it. I'll pause the video, pause the podcast, go watch it and come back. But otherwise, we're also going to be talking about AEW All In London plus the Y'all In AEW All In Texas announcement. We'll be talking, of course, RevPro 12-year anniversary show happening the same weekend this Saturday. We'll get those N1 and 5-star updates. Plus, All Japan had a big-time title change on Saturday as well. So if we have time for it all, we'll talk about it today on Ring Post Radio. So let's start off with G1 Climax Finals. It came home, as the British would say. Zack Sabre Jr. won the G1 Climax. He beat Yota Tsuji, and he is now going to challenge Tetsuya Naito at the Tokyo Dome. Oh, sorry, hold up. What's that? I'm getting an update. Oh, no, not the Tokyo Dome. Or we don't know exactly yet because Zack Sabre Jr. has challenged Tetsuya Naito, not for Wrestle Kingdom this January, but rather this October in Ryogoku Korakuen Hall at King of Pro Wrestling, October 14th. So he has challenged him for October 14th. They also happen to announce a Royal Quest 4 show following King of Pro Wrestling. So Zack Sabre Jr. potentially going to challenge for the title at King of Pro Wrestling. I have to imagine that's the case. And then potentially winning it and going off to merry old England with said belt. But the question is, Scotty, will that happen? What will Wrestle Kingdom look like? And what did you think very quickly about the match? Not very quickly, but as long as you like.
I have a lot of thoughts about like ultimately what unfolded, and it's that the person that was supposed to win this tournament got hurt.
Oh, you're in the Yuya Uemura camp?
I think I am, because once I saw the King of Pro Wrestling thing, I was like, that match could have easily just happened because he beat Naito. That could have already happened, and I'm under the idea that that's exactly what happened at this stage.
So are you thinking, is the conspiracy theory thinking here that the Zack Sabre Jr. match would have been in KOPW anyways,
Yes.
and they just happened to do it? They're just going to continue here. But you're saying that you think Yuya Uemura would have won and then challenged at Wrestle Kingdom, and then if that's the Wrestle Kingdom match, then that would be your tell. Is that what you're guessing?
That's my guess. Obviously, I do not know. But I was thinking about it as I was watching the match. I was like, this kind of feels like Yuya Uemura would have been a great spot here. And I had felt it in the lead up because of the way certain things went down. And I was like, and when Tsuji did the
deadbolt suplex,
the deadbolt, I was like, wait just a damn minute. Why are you paying tribute to the guy that beat your ass? It's like,
I'll beat your ass, but I broke your arm. There's a little.
Well, yeah, it felt like it was like
also rivals. He shaved his head.
Right, they're rivals. So and Yuyu's gonna come back. He's not gonna be out for that long. He's gonna be out for a while, but not for that long. So I was just thinking to myself, oh, interesting. And then as I'm watching this final, and when the match is over, and he announces that, I was like, oh, maybe that was the case, because Tsuji winning both and being the first to win both in the same year would have been obviously the ultimate way to put someone over.
Massive push.
And either way, I still think he benefits a lot from winning the New Japan Cup, being in the finals, of this tournament. That was just a thought because once I watched Suji beat David Finlay, I thought to myself, he could just have that title match at Wrestle Kingdom. I think that would work perfectly fine. You have him versus Finlay for that belt, and then whoever versus the IWGP World Champion at Wrestle Kingdom. So, and a method to get there could have been like maybe Zach beats Tetsuya Naito for the belt, and then they do Zach and Yuya or whoever at Wrestle Kingdom, and Yuya whoever fails, because that's okay, right? You don't need the person to win on the G1 attempt. It's just the big spot.
Yeah.
That being said,
You elevated the guy with the G1 win, much like you did with Suji with the New Japan Cup win. They don't necessarily need a win in their challenge.
Right. Conspiracy aside, I think Zack Sabre Jr. absolutely deserves getting the win here. We've talked about it. We talked about it a lot, obviously, at the beginning of this tournament. We talked about it before this tournament, how him winning this tournament made a lot of sense in terms of where he is in his career. In terms of like New Japan tradition, this is a pretty brand new thing. Only Kenny Omega is the person to have gone to Wrestle Kingdom, done that main event as a challenger, and so on. Still is going to be the only one.
Speaking of losing in the challenge.
Right. Now, I think we are in an interesting spot. I thought the match was great. I thought it was the best long Suji match I've watched because I didn't get bored.
I think it was the best long Suji match since David Finlay the night prior. And before that, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Suji had two great performances back to back. I think it was a lot of the reasons because as much as people don't like David Finlay, I think David Finlay does a really good job at making his opponent look good these days. Like I think that was my biggest takeaway in the G1 is he did a really good job at making the other guy look good, whether he wins or loses. And I actually like their chemistry a lot. I think Suji and Finlay click really well. But I thought this was a great tournament final match. And I think the excitement of that final 10 minutes or so was off the charts great. Kind of what you'd expect from this. They didn't go too long. I think that was also the beauty of it. And Zach winning, and I think the beauty of Zach winning and how he won is it was very Zack Sabre Jr., right? He is folding this guy into a pretzel and pulling at him in every which way possible to get the victory. And him winning felt like such a special moment. And I didn't really have I won't say I had a dog in the fight. Like I didn't necessarily care because I understood whichever one won. But I think Zach is more exciting, especially now that we're doing the KOPW thing. It creates a lot of different openings moving forward, and it makes the fall time for New Japan far more exciting than it would have been, right? And I think in a way, New Japan doing this is a way to keep momentum from the G1 rather than gain all this momentum from the G1 where people have really enjoyed it and just completely lose it. But that's my take. I think Zach beating Naito is very much in the discussion. I think it would be an interesting move, especially if you want Zach to do both Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty back-to-back days. I wouldn't be shocked if he was potentially champion for both. But I'm very happy for Zach. Obviously, he's put in a lot of work. He stayed loyal, and now he gets the big win.
I'm trying to look through these outcome scenarios that we talked about last week, and I don't believe that Uemura, even if he beat Oleg Boltin, I don't believe he would have won unless obviously they changed a bunch of other matches. Because
I think they changed a bunch of other matches.
Because Uemura would have defeated Oleg. Suji defeated Cobb in the main event. Hanare beat Goto, right? Yes, Hanare beat Goto. So it would have been, maybe that Takeshita would have been knocked out. Finlay, like it's either like you have Narita, Uemura, and Suji as an option, You have Finley, Uemura, and Takeshita as an option. You have Narita, Finley, and then a 3-way tied for third. Uemura, 3-way tied for second, and Narita, which probably aren't. Those two things are going to happen. So it's either Finley, Uemura, Takeshita, or Narita, Uemura, or Tsuji. And so Uemura is moving in, obviously, in both those situations. But who won, Takeshita or Ren Narita? I think it was Ren Narita, right?
Takeshita won. That's how he got in.
Oh, yes. I keep forgetting that Takeshita was the third guy there. And then Finley defeated ELP. So, yeah, that would have been Finley. If Uemura won and everything else was the same, it would have been Finley, Uemura, Takeshita.
Yeah. See, I think that would have been very much like... I think Tsuji got the benefit of the doubt here that he just took the run because they said, we should have a young guy. Again, this is me just assuming, but I don't know. If you watch this tournament in full, this really felt like the Uemura tournament for a lot of it.
What was the Uemura? The problem with it, though, is that, like, how New Japan books stuff is that they, like, we talked about it. You always look at the last night of the show, right?
Yeah.
And obviously we didn't have
Great Khan got in.
Sure. But that's fair. Which was a great moment for him. But my point there is that you look at the last matches, and obviously card order is the big signifier here. But if you're looking at it, Yuya Uemura versus Oleg Boltin does not scream like a block decider at all. And him winning really decides, like, him being in the final three or not. And Tsuji obviously ends up being the main event. Maybe they would have swapped out the main event with somebody else. But the only other person that would make sense maybe to swap it out is Finley ELP. But then Finley would already be pretty much in at this point. Maybe Takeshita Narita. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's something about how, like, they usually want the main event to be like, oh, and then things fall together and yada yada yada. And it just doesn't feel like Uemura Oleg as a main event would have been that. Because that really was the signifier.
I don't think it would have main evented, but I still do think that Uemura was getting in.
Because ultimately, if Uemura wins, it would have been like the Tsuji Ka match doesn't necessarily.
I think it would have been Narita Takeshita then. That would have been your main event.
Yeah,
that was the big qualifier.
Then that would have determined. Because you would have had the one option of Narita Uemura Tsuji and then Finley Uemura Takeshita. Yeah. So would have mattered either Narita or Takeshita going in, and then it would have mattered with either Finley or Tsuji. But that actually comes down to ELP or Finley. So yeah, it's a whole different thing. So I don't know. That's the conspiracy out there. Everyone can figure that out. Obviously, how it played out would have been differently with Finley Uemura and Takeshita, but also Tsuji versus Cobb wouldn't have been the main event. Maybe, I don't know, but who the heck knows? Obviously, what played out is what played out. But yeah, I thought the semifinal matches were obviously some of the best of the tour. They both were great. I thought Tsuji versus Finley was a fantastic effort. I thought Tsuji was great in there. The crowd's response to the deadbolt suplex, you mentioned the Uemura of it all. A big part of that as well is, throwing out the conspiracy theory aside, what that established to me is a more formal, because it was already established, but a continuation of their connection, whether it be feud, whether it be turning into a friendship. But it also showcased to me the crowd's understanding of whose move that was, what the moment meant, and what this meant moving forward. So to me, a move is over, ultimately meaning that Yuya Uemura got over through this tour, which I think is also a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
From there,
I think Yuya Uemura is a fan favorite now.
Yes, I think the G1 Climax
in many ways, based on certain reactions for a certain other guy that calls himself the Ace, I think we've watched the pivot happen between the two.
Yes, we'll talk about that in a moment. But the other match, Shingo and Sabre, I thought was really, really good. It was another classic Shingo Sabre match. And then you get to the finals here, and I thought the match was fantastic. I thought, the beginning was a little slow, but the problem with, not the problem, but what that is that it is slow, but it is all setting up for the finals. It is Zach working over that arm continuously. It's, Suji working on the ribs, and, it may be slow, and maybe I was looking at my phone in the very first 5 minutes or so, but everything from there on was fantastic, top tier stuff. I went 4.5 on this match. I thought it was great wrestling. It was a great moment. I think obviously Suji again going for the deadbolt, but then getting transferred into an armbar of some kind was great. I thought the new octopus stranglehold that Zack Sabre Jr. had on Suji was great. And it also reminds me of the sheer amount of times that he's done that octopus. I guess octopus hold is another term. That's actually a wrestling move. An octopus, the multiple submission holds all at once. It reminds me of all the times he's done that on Naito. And I thought that was also very foreshadowing to, I guess, potentially now King of Pro Wrestling with him versus Naito. I thought the wrestling itself was great stuff, but obviously I think there are a lot more talking points in terms of how everyone's done in this G1, what people look like coming out of the G1, and obviously King of Pro Wrestling. That's the big news, not happening in Wrestle Kingdom. So assuming that match is happening at KOPW, I think it's fair to assume that that's the case. This isn't a backstage news thing. He said it post-match in the ring to the crowd. So I'm pretty sure this is happening. And then obviously Royal Quest 4 being announced following or before during the show, obviously, but the show is happening after KOPW. Really makes me feel like Zack Sabre Jr. is definitely winning.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you want the best match right now, he's the guy to go with. So much as I love Naito, and listen, if it came to Wrestle Kingdom, do I think Naito would put it all together? Yeah, I do, because that's just that's what he does. Yeah. But I would understand the idea of going with Zach in a more unconventional way, going with the KOPW title, not the KOPW title, but the King of Pro Wrestling show win, and having a strong reign for the next however long, right? Whether it be you can see him defend against Uemura, perhaps. I think that's kind of where we're all at, right? Is like Uemura is probably the title challenger at Kingdom. I don't know who else would be. That's the thing. I think that's the most.
We look at Zack Sabre Jr.'s. Let me look at Zack Sabre Jr. who he lost to. Maybe we can get some tea leaves there. But continue your thought process.
He didn't lose to many people, I'll tell you that. He won a lot. He did not lose much. He lost to Shingo, who we already
Shota Umino.
That's Royal Quest, I think.
Royal Quest Shota Umino. That makes sense. He's got that RevPro connection.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. He only lost twice, and he beat Shingo already. So I think.
The only other matches we have, obviously, there's the Shingo Takagi 20th debut match. I don't think we're having anything there. The card isn't announced yet, but I don't think we're going to have a title defense there from Naito. Destruction in Kobe, we may get a title defense, but if it is confirmed for King of Pro Wrestling, maybe we do, maybe we don't. It would be a month prior, so maybe that's something. Otherwise, we would probably have a title defense, obviously, at King of Pro Wrestling. And then, Royal Quest is 6 days after that. From there, it looks like it's just Super Junior Tag League. And then probably December will be the World Tag League Tour announcement. I don't think he's defending maybe a historic crossover. Maybe he is. I don't think he is.
You never know. Maybe.
And then Wrestle Kingdom 19 would be that. And obviously Wrestle Dynasty the day after. So I think it's it's pretty much just going to be KOPW, and then it's probably Royal Quest, and then Wrestle Kingdom. I think that's probably the pathway here.
Yeah, and it's kind of why I just lean on Yuya being the Kingdom one, because I don't think anyone makes sense after that, unless they do Shota Umino, but I don't think they're doing that.
I wouldn't. After this tour, I wouldn't.
That would not be good. And Naito lost to so many people, right? That I feel like they can just kind of null and void all that with the Zack Sabre Jr. title win. But again, it's something we have to wait and see. I think Zack winning going on, and then there'll be options to beat him by then, right? I would think Oi was coming back Wrestle Kingdom time. Obviously, Rio, I think he will instantly be in consideration sometime next year because they don't have a choice. I think Yu Uemura is obviously going to be a choice. Suju will be a choice. There's a lot of options, or there will be a lot of options. There aren't at this very moment. But I would definitely have Zack win the title. I know it's probably could have been Naito's last main event, but I understand for them. You're trying to get the most out of possibilities, and I think if you want a big time match, maybe they go with Yuya there. Either way, I'm excited. A lot of the conversation for me, like everyone talking about the G1, I was like, yeah, but then Takeshita leaves, and then you lose pretty much the main talking point of this entire tournament, right? He's not going to be here tomorrow, per se. So that was one of the things, and then a few other thoughts I have was how do they keep momentum? And I think this is a very unique way to do it. I don't know how I feel about it being the untraditional method. Would Zack versus Naito just be fine for the Wrestle Kingdom main event? Yes, but they have to have some reasoning to their madness. So I am seated, I am interested, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they ultimately do over the next 2 months, especially as we get to Zack's title match.
Yeah, I actually think that them moving to KOPW and continuing that momentum is a great idea.
Yeah.
I think New Japan as a whole, at least for me, and it feels like online, but it is the G1 Climax, so maybe it's just recency bias, or rather, just sort of the excitement of it all. But there's a wave that happened through this G1 Climax of excitement with the fan base. I think, I think that this was of the more recent G1 climaxes since the 2019 era sort of ended, the 2010s era ended. I think this is probably the best one that we've discussed on Ring Post Radio. I think
absolutely, not even a question.
Last year felt dire. The year prior was fine, and then
had the amazing final with Ospreay and Okada, but couldn't tell you anything else that happened.
21 and 20 were obviously the pandemics.
Yeah,
I think one of them was the Ibushi final. I think that this was one of the better tournaments of the past several years, and I think this is a wave that you need to continue. And waiting till January, where that is fun, and waiting it for the big show is both very interesting in me and a bold choice. But I think it's a wave that you need a hype on. Then the more interesting part of that as well is not doing it at Wrestle Kingdom to me. Obviously, they can run it back with Naito at Wrestle Kingdom if they so choose. But what that tells to me is that they might not think that Naito and Sabre is the big money match for whatever reason.
Absolutely.
Or, maybe they think, oh, we have to shoot it early, obviously, because, it is the money match, but we need to ride this momentum and we need to keep it going. So we're just going to have to move it up so that we get more feel-good energy from our fans and yada, yada, yada. That is totally plausible. But then it has to, to do that thought, you then immediately have to think of, well, then what is our Tokyo Dome main event? What match can they do that is bigger than Tetsuya Naito versus Zack Sabre Jr. for the title? To me, you're right that it could be Yu Uemura, but that doesn't scream bigger to me.
I don't think it screams bigger, but it's a better opportunity for what they're trying to do, if that makes sense. It's really weird because I don't think there's bigger matches in New Japan right now, but it's about getting certain guys to that level.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think you have to I don't want to say take one for the team, but in many ways you do. Like, yes, you want to get the most people possible into the Tokyo Dome on that day and the day after. Yes. And honestly, if there's a year to bank on not having to worry about that, it might be this year because of what the day that follows, right? So you could just the idea of, okay, there's going to be a lot of people in the country. There always is, but there's going to be a lot of extra people there for that. So maybe
Yeah.
we could just bank on that helping, and we can go with a main event that's going to help our future rather than a main event that's just the big money main event, which the big money main event looking at this roster right now is Naito and Zach. I
Yeah.
think. I don't think there's really a bigger match. That being said, that's not where they're going. And I think you're right about the momentum thing. Like, my biggest worry post G1 was okay, and then everything's going to die out and no one's going to care
Mhm.
because that's just what happens, right?
Tag leagues, baby. They they
Tag league,
drain. They drain.
tag leagues, the realization that like Takeshita's not actually here, that wasn't going to help, right? Whoever won, what are they going to be doing?
Mhm.
Now it's different. Now you can build to that. Obviously, you have Capital Collision at the end of the month,
Yep.
right? Where Zach's going to be, him and Teton.
Yep.
You know, you have that, and then you have different things to build to get there. You're gonna have historic crossover. Now you have Royal Quest. So there's a lot of shows of interest now, and you can ride that with King of Pro Wrestling, which of course could be Zach's crowning moment, and you set up your G1. And you can use the time to set up your G1, not G1, sorry, Wrestle Kingdom main event, however way you want. And the only reason I keep seeing you and more is like, who is the only person that can walk out there and be like, hey, I didn't get to finish the tournament, you know, and
Sure.
right, like that's the only one. And what was the last thing you Uemura did? He beat Yota Tsuji in the middle of the ring, right? So
With a broken freaking arm.
with a broken freaking arm. Oh my god, that could be his promos. He could be like Kurt Angle with the broken freaking neck. He could do broken freaking arm. The Heat Storm won. Whatever match.
Can I give you an option that all New Japan fans would? I don't know if all of them will hate, but I think
I don't think anyone wants Shota Umino, so do not say it.
Bryan Danielson.
That'd be something.
Now, we'll get to that when we get to the London preview, but assuming he would have to win the title at Wembley, probably drop the title at some point before
And stay
January,
active.
and still stay active,
Yeah.
and work their third match for the title main event of Tokyo Dome.
Well, I could see them do that the day after.
I could also see them do that the day
Yeah.
after. And that's just to real quickly, the thought I had was you may lose money in the Tokyo Dome main event, in Tokyo Dome and Wrestle Kingdom, obviously, but you are going to get a share of the gate via the split the
Right.
next. Will that hopefully cover any loss you may have in the first thing. Also, if your undercard is just as good, then it will offset the load that the main event will have to carry. But I think if anything that can come to mind that's bigger than Naito, Danielson's the first thing that comes to mind. Obviously, a thing that got inserted into this was Bryan Danielson wants Zack Sabre Jr. to win the G1 Climax. And that was a talking point as well, and that got inserted. So I don't think it's out of the question. Obviously, the guys have gone 1-1. I think it is plausible. I think it is on the table. Certainly, and if obviously, I think Wrestle Dynasty is another good place to do that. But I think it is this idea of it's on the table. He'll probably be there that weekend. I wouldn't be shocked.
I don't think they would even I only don't think they consider because they want to put someone over, I'm sure, in their spot because Danielson won't be there tomorrow, right? Like again, that's the Takeshita conversation.
I agree. I fully agree with
Danielson's actually interesting for Royal Quest because of the conversations they've had, right? Regarding like
that's a great neutral ground.
Yeah. Which isn't neutral at all, by the way. England is not neutral. But that's the match, that's the place they keep talking about.
Neutral ground is Wrestle Dynasty. It is in Japan.
Yeah,
they don't both are true. Not from Japan. It's in a joint co-promoted show from both of their companies.
Yeah,
That's
see,
the
I can see that
show.
main event that show. I could see that main event that show.
I'm starting to
It's
think
really
that is the main event of that show. Hold on, I'm starting to think that is the case.
It's a matter of what Danielson's doing. Like we have no idea.
Yeah,
We're just kind of
literally,
playing it
the
with
way I
him,
pitched
right?
that was he has to win the title at Wembley and then drop it before January, which is plausible.
Yeah. Oh,
I would
very
have
much so.
this reign is small for Danielson.
I've had this conversation in my own head. Like thinking about Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty is like most of the time. I think the second day isn't going to do better, right? Just it doesn't. And like I don't know what Japanese
doesn't.
Right, and I don't know what Japanese fans feel about AEW and CMLL, and if that really and Ring of Honor, and I don't know if that moves them, right? Like I don't know if that moves them, but that day also likely includes the return of Kazuchika Okada to Japan. So it's like it doesn't matter. That will sell a lot of tickets, right? So it's like that's like I don't think Okada will be in the. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they put Okada in the main event, actually.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things I've thought about. Like, would they put Okada in the title match and put him in Zack or him in Young Gun number 2? Like, right? It's like the thing that they never did. Would they do that? Even if it's Okada just winning, would they do that? Those are the things I think about. There's a lot to think about moving forward. Because I just think this is a good thing, though. We're talking about New Japan and what's to come soon, not what's to come in 4 months when, who cares, right? This is a good thing, I think. And I'm looking forward to New Japan for the first time in a while. I'll see how long that lasts. But right now, we're going. We're going.
Who are you excited to see coming out of the G1 Climax? Who are some guys that you thought, might have put in a good performance or interesting stuff evolving them that makes you excited to see kind of where they go moving forward? I think a guy for me is definitely Suji. Just to, I think that's a chalk answer of who's interesting. That I think there. If I'm circling something, I think that there could be a Takeshita Finley title match down the line. I think I believe Takeshita hinted at that. I'm interested greatly at Takeshita being in New Japan more often. He's teasing maybe joining even a faction.
I'd pay money for him to go to New Japan
full time.
Full time, like no stuff. And I don't know. Part of me thinks like if he ever becomes a free agent again, I don't know what his contract situation is.
Yeah.
And New Japan offered him a big money deal because like they can offer him pretty good money.
Yeah.
He'd at least consider it, right? And I think that's interesting. But like he very clearly had a great time. Like this was honestly like it seemed like it was a dream come true for him.
Yeah.
So,
I believe it was. Yeah. He's always wanted to be in this ring.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what Takeshita does. Like how do you follow up on the momentum that he's created in the wrestling world right now? Obviously that is a 0-hour match on All Out. If that happens, $5. I don't know who, but $5. I'll be really sad if that's exactly what happens. I'm not gonna lie. I put him in some feature match the moment he comes back. I think I'm interested in David Finlay.
Me too.
Which is great. He had the tournament that we hoped for last year. Listen, sometimes it takes a little longer, but I think he just had a way stronger tournament. I think the conversation around him has died down, and that allowed him to just be himself. I think he really had a great tournament. I think he's someone that I just enjoy watching now. I'm excited for the continuation of the big man, Bolton Oleg. I think he's awesome, obviously, but I think like we are now in a time where this next year he could be in the conversation of a winner for the G1 by next time around. So I'm obviously very excited for him as well. I won't take all the names, but
kind of already mentioned it. But Yu Uemura, when he comes back, I think he's a ready-made star. I think he had a great tournament, and then him going away will actually build up anticipation for his return in a good way. I think
he got the biggest pop of the G1, and he didn't wrestle. I mean, the G1 semis and final.
Definitely. Yeah, when he did that, it was like, oh my god! and I'm glad the crowd like acknowledge that that's what that move is.
Yeah.
I think that was a great moment for him.
He got himself wicked over, and I'm very excited to see what he does when he comes back because the dude, no one brought their stock up more than you more.
You know who's someone that brought their stock up a lot more? Great O'Con.
Damn right he did.
Hand wave of going into this tournament, and now I'm like,
they both were arguably.
Yeah. But I was real hand waving Great O'Con, and I was just like, I don't care anymore. And coming out of this, I really enjoy his performance in the G1. I do not know what it looks like moving forward with him, but I'm very intrigued about it.
I like serious Great O'Con.
Me too.
And I think New Japan
Fight shorts Great O'Con. We need that more.
Yeah. Like this was the first time I watched him. I was like, if he actually became the leader of this group, it makes sense. Like there's just something there. I think that's a great choice as well. The fact that we're talking about him and Yu Uemura, the two people that we came into this tournament, be like,
who cares?
and obviously I'm super invested in Yu, but I think he definitely deserves a shout out to Great O'Con. Yeah, this tournament in many ways was super successful.
Agreed.
Because it wasn't just about the winner, who obviously only lost twice, but it was about so many different wrestlers and so many wrestlers growing.
It successfully elevated several guys, I think.
You had to trade one guy for like 5 or 6, and I think it was a good trade.
I agree. I think it's one of those things of, Okada's finally gone to the G1. We're forced to elevate some guys, and I think they successfully elevated some guys, showcasing that New Japan can still kind of do it. It's all about the follow-up now, though. I think attendance-wise, it down from last year, but I think losing Okada and Ospreay, that's pretty good. It wasn't down by like a significant number.
Some days were better.
Some days were better than others. But I think like overall in terms of tour, you're down like your major stars and Tanahashi and all these other guys.
Yeah,
pretty good. And I think I'm excited a lot about these guys. Other people, just real quickly, that I'm semi excited about seeing moving forward, just to see how it comes out. I think it's all about the follow up with these guys. Gabe Kidd is one of those guys. Hanare is one of those guys. ELP, I'm interested about just to see where he's going for. Hiroki Goto would be fascinating to see moving forward. I don't think he's going to be doing much, but I'm fascinated to see what that looks like moving forward. There are people that I'm interested on a morbid curiosity moving forward, like Shota Umino or Sonata maybe, or Jake Lee, I guess, especially. There's some of that, but
I mean, if you want to take that, we'll probably get yelled at. Well, I think he had great matches. I think this was the first time I started to see Shingo take a step back.
I agree.
Okay. Cool.
He had great matches, but we kind of talked about this last week a little bit when we talked about like people that met our expectations or not.
Yeah.
And it's just like he felt there, but he didn't feel like the standout guy necessarily of this tournament.
Right. And it almost felt like it easily could have been him. Yeah. Because that's who Shingo's always been. I think he's just getting older, and with that, he's still very good. This was the first time I was like, he's not the same exact guy. He still has some of that explosion, and obviously that power. But I did feel that way, when it was all over. I think it's interesting. Like, there's a lot of people I don't have any interest in after this tournament either. If anyone's wondering,
who's that? Jake Lee.
Well, obviously, I didn't really have interest in Jake Lee, anyways. But if I needed
for me,
if I needed confirmation, boy oh boy, did I get it.
Shooter.
I've been talking about Shota Umino this entire tournament. I'm done.
Ren Narita had glimmers of something, and then he would always go back to sort of the tropiness.
Yeah, some people acted like he was awful in this tournament. I don't think he was awful. I think he was figuring things out because again, this is now his persona, and I don't think he does it poorly. I think he's just like, again, he is not dead last in my young guy rating. That is Mr. Shota Umino.
Who had easily, I think, the worst tournament of everybody.
Considering the matches he could have had, yes, Like he could have had a great match with Zach. He could have had and that match was the ultimate Zach performance, and Shota just was nothing.
I think one of his more interesting matches that I can really remember is his match with Gabe Kidd, and it's only because of rumors.
Yeah.
It's only because of rumors out there.
And that wasn't even as good as I wanted it to be.
No, no, it wasn't. It was still a disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah, he's done. He's done. It's over.
I suspect that they're going to team him up at least maybe for World Tag League with ELP.
To me, this is how I feel about Shota. Based on certain things, I don't really care if he ever does succeed. Honestly, sorry.
Who is your top 5 of the tournament?
Top 5 wrestlers?
Yeah, I think Saber.
In
Suji,
no order,
Takeshita.
I'll do. Well, Takeshita would be first. In no order, except I want everyone to know Takeshi's number 1. Takeshita, Zach, Yuya, Goto, either Suji or Finley.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Probably Finley because he impressed me more. Like I knew what Suji could do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can agree with that list. And
shout out
to the
to
point,
Goto gave me feeling.
Yep.
Yep. Different feelings.
To that point, Shingo outside the top 5 is a disappointment. Another guy like similarly to Shingo, where a guy like I thought could have done a little bit more, but he kind of just did his usual thing. Jeff Cobb. Nothing against Jeff Cobb. I like Jeff Cobb. It's just sort of like, I was expecting a little bit more, and I didn't really get.
He fits into his role.
Yeah, exactly. He's solid in his role, and I think it's a good role to have, and I think he's doing well in it. It's just like I thought you could have done a little bit more, maybe Jeff Cobb.
Yeah.
But I'm also fine with it. So man, it is what it is.
Sure.
I ultimately think this was a successful tournament. I think a lot of people got elevated successfully. Again, it's all about that follow up. And yeah, Suji Saber wins. KOPW around the corner. Literally 2 months from now, we have a title match probably against Naito.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens moving forward from there.
I'm excited. Looking forward to it.
That being said, I did talk about Neutral Ground being Danielson Wrestle Dynasty. You don't want that to be a night 1, night 2 show. You still need to give a great main event for night 1. Just to round up this topic, you still need to give a great main event of night 1. I do not know what that is.
Yeah.
You also don't necessarily want it to be an AEW guy versus a New Japan guy because just shove that to Wrestle Dynasty,
Mm-hmm.
But what is it? I literally have no idea right now.
The reason I keep saying Yu more is I think that would be the best match for him against Zach. Like,
I think it could be
stylistically, I think it would be the best. Because it's not going to be Suji. It's not going to. It doesn't matter. Yu Uemura wasn't a real wrestler until this tournament.
Sure, I'm just going to look at it.
So it's not going to be Suji. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be Shota, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm not. I definitely don't want it to be Shota.
I don't think it's Oleg. I don't think it's Naito. Kid? No. I think that could be fine, but I don't think so. They have wrestled one time in singles action. But I believe Uemura was still a young lion in 2021.
Oh, yeah, he was definitely a young lion.
And Korakuen Hall. That match was the opener of a Korakuen Hall show. 6.91. But, it is young lion. Uemura there. But yeah, I'm very excited. I think a lot of fans were very excited. I love the crowd pop. The vibes were there for these last 2 nights, which was very important. And yeah, I'm excited to see where we go moving forward in regards to New Japan. And
nice
like we
feeling.
One of the things moving forward for New Japan is they have a joint show with AEW, and AEW has this week announced another big time show for their calendar. Kind of a choppy segue, but I got there. AEW All In Texas was announced this week. This is the stadium show that's coming next year, 2025, July, in fact, July 2025 in Arlington, Texas. So first time stadium show for this company in a building that holds about 40 to 45,000 people. This is the Globe Life Field where the Rangers play, I believe.
Yes,
Rangers.
Texas Rangers.
It will be the first pro wrestling show held in that venue. The lead up will also feature, quote, a series of events in Arlington that will be announced in the future. You have to imagine that they're going to go back probably to the esports arena. And yeah, they are officially doing their relationship with Arlington has been successful. They got a stadium show with All In Texas now. They did clarify that 2026 they're going back to Wembley, back to London. So
did they say Wembley or just London?
I definitely know London. Let me see if I can find a quote.
I thought it was just London. I think people assumed Wembley.
Yeah, I mean, I assume Wembley as well, but I'll look in to see if I can get a specific quote here. I assume it's London. I mean, it's also, to be fair, if he's saying London, it could still be Wembley, and they're just not specifying it.
Yeah.
You know,
because they'll be in London next year too, in a different.
Oh yes, that might be one of what was the Tottenham Spurs or whatever their freaking thing is called. Their field house
could just be a tour.
Could just be a tour,
be a UK tour, which honestly would be good too. So
they're stepping out into Cardiff, so we'll see how that goes. But All In Texas was announced. Obviously, they'll go back to London the year following that. What are your thoughts on All In Texas, or Y'all In, as it obviously should be known?
It's obviously I think it's a great thing to see out of a pro wrestling company that's been around for 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Growth, maybe.
Growth, absolutely. Comes at a weird time.
A weird time where the attendance is light, and especially
attendance is real light. I just saw a WrestleTix update, and it's for middle of September, September 12th or something. But it was sub 1,000 people bought tickets. I was like, oh,
was this the Illinois show?
No, it was a different one. The Illinois show was rough too, though.
That's tickets for sure.
Yeah, I can't I feel like I can't give my full feelings about All In Texas because I don't know where they're going to be when that show's coming around. I think it's going to do
a lot. Can change in 11 months. It's
going to do well. Is it going to do great though? I don't know.
I think what's good about it for me is that they went for a baseball stadium, a smaller necessarily arena in terms it's still a stadium,
half a football stadium.
Yeah, they were obviously not going to put up Wembley numbers here because Wembley is also one of the biggest stadiums in the world. But what's interesting to me about it is that being at 40 to 45,000 attendance, they're doing 50,000 roughly right now with All In Wembley, London. So it seems totally right now, immediately, and also being the first stadium show, it's definitely going to be a fly-in sort of show. It immediately feels like to me that they could do really well attendance-wise, but it's 11 months away. How are things going to change? Who knows? They have to heat up. I think they have been heating up for a little bit, and obviously attendance is always the sort of slow part to when a company company starts getting hotter, the attendance is slow to catch up.
Yeah, it's a month or two late.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see next month if things start really turning around for them, and then it's a matter of can they maintain that excitement for 10 months. I think it's a good smart move, especially coming out of Wembley. I think Wembley obviously was getting lower attendance, so it makes sense to give them a breath.
Oh, I agree. I
maybe do a smaller tour and then come back next year.
I agree that not doing it again. And I said we had that conversation months ago. I said don't do it again. 3 years in a row. Yeah. Sorry, Will Ospreay. Sorry that you're not winning the world title. You gotta wait, buddy.
You gotta wait a couple of years, buddy.
Which, by the way, makes that conversation that we had 2 months ago hilarious to think about now.
Are you talking about the Will Ospreay should be main eventing at Wembley?
Yeah, the Will Ospreay crowning moment. Oh, well, they could just do it next year. No, they actually can't. Well, they can. It just, might not feel as special in the middle of Texas.
Yeah.
Dustin Rhodes is probably going to win, actually, based on current decision making.
We have the same exact joke, but instead of Dustin Rhodes, I was going to say hologram.
Mystico.
I'm fine by me.
I hope it's a success. It should be a success. I think if I'm AEW, you need to go out of your way to make this feel like a WrestleMania type week. You want to try to get as many other wrestling companies there too. I think that's kind of been my problem and other people's problems with how the All In London stuff goes. It's just like very few companies run. I don't know why.
To be fair, like there isn't much companies left
but I feel like some companies would be willing to travel.
Yeah, you would think like GCW would try to do that.
GCW, a Japanese company, someone. I know it's tournament season. I get it.
Not
but like
GCW.
Not for no, I'm talking about the Japanese company.
No, yes.
Because I just feel like it lacks that week-long feel. And I think they've done good by adding the Cardiff date themselves. Like they've done their best to make it feel full. I just think that's like it should be a destination.
Yeah.
Not just for the show, but for the whole week, as WrestleMania has become. And I know WrestleMania became that over time and has years and years and years to it. And it's WWE, so just more known. But listen, you're going to have 45K fans or near 50 fans in London, and only RevPro, Progress, and like Pro Wrestling Eve are running shows. Like, come on.
Let me look it up. I know Voice of Wrestling has a.
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot. Let me see if I can look that up. But continue.
And I think that's just like part of the selling point for people, especially that are willing to travel, say, from around the world. It's like, oh, I get to see more wrestling. And I think next year they will do it. But we'll see, because I don't know. They don't, because most companies don't even do it for like SummerSlam. It's just WrestleMania. So
yeah.
Also, when is this? July or June?
This is July. This is July. What was the date? July 25th, I want to say. Or no,
so the biggest
25th.
Event,
July 12th.
The biggest event of AEW's schedule is less than 3 months after WrestleMania.
Speaking of WWE, you know what else? Other thing I found interesting about All In Texas? SummerSlam's now announced for a location, 2025. They're announced for 2026 in Minneapolis, right? Minnesota. SummerSlam 2025. That's an opening. And you know WWE is trying to get into England. What better time to potentially leave England with WWE potentially going in? I'm not saying that's my conspiracy cap for the episode, but what a better time to potentially leave England and not burn at the territory than potentially SummerSlam coming in for the same time period and running Wembley as well, let's say.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Makes you think. Makes you think. I don't know if I don't know if there's rumors out there. I haven't heard anything, but makes you think if just putting pieces together. The WWE wants to get in there.
Yeah. This is all to say, by the way, I think All in Texas is brilliant. Texas is the spot they should be doing this.
Yeah.
Texas is a hotbed for AEW. It's been consistently their best spot, even over Chicago, who is, I think Illinois as a whole is getting a little tired.
They could have done All In Chicago 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's best, and they keep All Out there anyway. So,
the question is, what other places stateside can you do an All In show? Obviously, this would not be till 2027 at minimum, but and that's way too far away, and a lot of things will have to happen to make sure that we get there. But I don't know. Honestly,
they do it during the summer, so it opens up a lot of spots at least.
I think it's just too far away for 3 years from now. But
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
It brings up the question of, now that you've opened the door that you're willing to do the stateside, where else are you willing to go? Maybe are you willing to go other places internationally? You know, there's conversation about maybe doing Australia show. I've seen Dave, or maybe not Dave, but the Wrestling Observer at the very least, report that there appears to be openings for maybe an Australia date.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I think I just want them to announce a stupid TV deal. Looking to the future is always funny, and then I'm like, can I just know what the future is first?
Yeah, there's a lot of things we have to figure out. Is WWE going to be as hot? Is AEW going to be still hot? Are they going to be having a TV? All these.
I don't even know who their top stars are going to be. Next time they go to London.
Two of the top stars in AEW 3 years ago, and look at it now.
Right. It's like, I can't assume anything. And based on I don't know, I was looking at the All In card, which we're about to talk about. I was like, it's kind of crazy that John Moxley has just sat this one out.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I'm good. I think we're at a time where John Moxley has very little interest in doing certain things, which is not great for AEW.
Not great, but also he's done a lot. So I think he's deserved the breather, but I also think he needs to be around because they're at an important point in the company's history.
We're at an important point at the company's history, and they're missing one of their biggest stars, and Bryan Danielson's retiring soon.
Yeah.
We're not retiring, but going away.
Or potentially winning a world title. So I guess we'll talk about that now. So All In London. Obviously, we have this show coming at you live on Sunday out of Wembley Stadium.
Excitement level 1 to 10. Go. Don't even think about it. Throw out a number. And he thought about it. God damn it.
7 or 8? 7.5?
7.5. That would be the number, yes.
I'm pretty excited. I think the main event is great. And I think it's been extremely well built. Perry Darby, I'm excited for. MJF Ospreay, I'm excited for. Monet Baker, I'm excited for.
You're excited for a lot more matches than I am already.
Trios title match. That's also a ladder match, apparently. I just found out.
Yeah, sure is. With a fourth team that no one knows.
Yeah, that is
a choice.
That's gonna be Bobby Lashley.
What? Yeah, it's actually just gonna be Bobby Lashley. He's winning the trios belts by himself.
It's Bobby.
Hold on. That might be a great idea.
Bobby, Leo, and Shelton Benjamin. The king of ladder matches, Shelton Benjamin.
It's not. I think they're doing a match for it.
Oh, really? Oh, that's disappointing. Well, we'll find out, I guess.
Third spot on Cardiff.
Okay. We'll do that in the preview. Save that for the preview. Tag team title match, I don't give a shit about. Jericho Hook.
We're going to have a conversation about the tag belts again.
Jericho Hook. They've built it well, I guess.
You don't have to say you're excited for every match. It's okay.
That's not my least excited match, but it's definitely not my most. Gauntlet match, we don't know anybody that's in it, but it should be fun.
I'm excited. I am legitimately excited for 3.5 matches.
Interesting.
Half.
Well, let's talk about them all.
Actually, technically 4, but 2 of them are halves.
Interesting. Well, let's talk about them all. Obviously, kicking off the 0 hour, we only have one match announced so far. Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii versus Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. There are a lot of people that aren't on this card yet. You know who is? Stokely Hathaway.
I hope it's a pivot. I hope it's not actually him, because that would be stupid.
Who would be a good pivot for Stokely Hathaway to be replaced?
A wrestler?
Bobby Lashley.
Just a wrestler. I don't care who.
Bobby Lashley, aka Stokely Hathaway.
Do not ruin Bobby Lashley night 1. Please, for the love of God.
Bobby Lashley versus Tomohiro Ishii. You're telling me you're not excited for that?
That's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking. No. Stop it.
No, that's fair.
I want Bobby Lashley built. I want Bobby Lashley to feel big, I think that's very important.
But anyways,
that'd be funny.
It's the Pokemon evolution.
Heel Ricochet.
It's Stokely Hathaway, then Ricochet, then Bobby Lashley. That's the Pokemon evolution there.
That's crazy.
But this match should be. I mean, I think it should be good. I mean, it might be a lot of comedy stuff but we'll see. The Willow Chris stuff will be good.
All I know is that it's whoever wins gets to pick the stipulation for All Out
for the CMLL title match.
Just for the singles match. I'm sure it's a CMLL title match, but it's a singles match to me. So, which is important. I'm sure the heel wins somehow. So
it will. My guess will be somehow Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway pull out the victory, and it'll be like some sort of chain match.
They should do a Texas Death match.
I don't know if they'll do Texas Death because it was so close to everything else. I'm thinking like maybe a dog.
Oh, wait a minute. If Swerve and Hangman's happening there, never mind.
It could be a dog collar. Mexico does have their own history of dog collar matches, and obviously,
I think you are caring way too much about the CML aspect of this.
Well, yeah, that's fair. The reason I'm also thinking it's just like a dog collar match is that a chain has been a prevalent point of.
No, I'm interested in that idea.
So maybe like, I don't know, a Russian chain match or dog collar or something. There's something there that I think is brewing between them all. Main card announced so far. FTW
There's only one 0-hour match
so far announced. There'll certainly be more. We'll talk about them next week.
My apologies.
Should be said. Good point to say it here. We will not be live at 9 a.m. like we typically are, 9 a.m. EST next week. Because what we're just going to do is once All In London is over, what time does the show even start?
1 p.m. Eastern is the main card.
Okay, so it will probably go until
5
or 6, probably, yeah. So yeah, after that, after reasonable time, maybe a food for ourselves, we will go live with All In London thoughts and our usual Ring Post Radio show. So next week it will be following AEW All In London is where Ring Post Radio will be held.
Do you know how much next week's episode technically needs to have?
Well, obviously All In London, which will take
All in London
hours.
All In London, Capital Collision, Bash in Berlin, 5-star Grand Prix final, Noah N1 victory final. I think that's it.
TNA Emergence. We're talking TNA Emergence. Marigold Dream Star Grand Prix preview.
Oh my god, it's that.
Maybe a RevPro 12th anniversary review.
We are in danger. All right, folks, get ready for the first ever 4-hour Ring Post Radio. Anyways,
NXT
let's not make this
No
4
Mercy?
hours.
NXT No Mercy review?
No,
I'm not doing that. I mean, TNA Emergence is probably dropping off. But we'll see. Main card, FTW title match, Chris Jericho versus Hook. Like I said, it's been well built. I did think Hook's promo last Wednesday was solid, for the limited stuff, but it was good for Hook. I hope that this is the end of whatever this is, and then we can move on. But I think we're probably going to move on with Chris Jericho, and he's going to.
If you ask me what was wrong with AEW, I might just point at this match.
I don't. Oh,
because no, because it highlights problems in booking. Hook did this a year ago at the same show. Exact same thing. It's just a different wrestler.
Elevation is what you mean,
right? Like he's still fighting for the FTW title at All In.
Yeah.
Yes, it's gone from Jack Perry to Jericho, I guess, but I think that's a problem. I also have negative 5% interest in Chris Jericho, so that doesn't help. But hey, Hook's winning, so that's nice.
Yeah, Hook's
probably not going to be. It's not going to be a good match.
No, I mean, I don't know. I think
Jericho pay-per-view matches just don't do it. You know this.
No, I am not as hard on Jericho pay-per-view matches as you are. I think this could be a 3.
All right, no, that's fair, I guess.
I think that I think him doing Plunder helps him a lot.
Yeah.
And so I think it could do well in that sense. Connor Hughes in the chat made a great point of a thing that we forgot we have to talk about probably next
week.
Review. Yeah. to add to the list. NWA 76, of course.
How dare you? How dare you?
August 31st, coming out of the 2300 Arena. What better way to celebrate NWA 76 than hardcore wrestling in Philadelphia? I don't even know if this will be live anywhere. It'll probably just be taped.
You've already given this show too much attention.
Next up, AEW World Title, number one contendership, Casino Gauntlet match. Orange Cassidy is the only person known for this Gauntlet match.
Hold on.
Is
Is Kyle and Roddy not in it?
The presumption is that they will be in it, but we just don't know. Like the thing, we know that they are not number one.
Gotcha.
We can maybe presume that they're in it. I wouldn't be shocked if this match has Kyle, Mark Briscoe, Roddy Strong, the Beast Mortos. Who else has been a part of this? All these multi-mans lately. I think it's going to be all of these guys.
Well, it's going to be main eventers. So, Mr. Probably Hangman Page.
I think Hangman Page will be in this.
I'm going to think Kazuchika Okada is going to be in it because he's having his title match on Wednesday. Ooh, so I think Okada is probably an option for it. Get the big pop when the coin drops and he runs down the long ramp. And oh my God, there's a big ramp. Probably Pac as well. I know he has the title match at All Out, but
to that extent, Claudio could also be in this.
Claudio can't be in it. He's in the Grand Prix like 2 days before it's CMLL. Well, he can be, but
he can make that 2 days.
Oh my God, hold on. So he's doing Cardiff, then flying to Mexico.
Yep.
And then potentially flying.
My man.
I put Moxley in this match. Big surprise return.
Moxley. That would be a fun surprise return. The problem with Moxley returning this is that it feels like he might win, but I wouldn't be against it.
I mean, my thought is that this is for like the same thing Luchasaurus won once upon a time, which is like the cash-in type win thing. Remember when Luchasaurus won and he cashed in for Christian Cage to win the title back from Edge?
Was that the ring?
It was a ring or something. Yeah.
I don't know because the gauntlet
or the chip. Maybe it was a chip. I think it was a chip.
It was a chip. I think it was
the ring was that was the
face of the revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if this is that. I don't know.
I only say that because Darby already is a number one contender.
Yeah, we are about to have a situation where we have 2 number one contenders.
Yeah, that's why I think it might be a chip.
Well, 3, I guess, if you count Bryan Danielson.
Oh my God, you're right. Hold on, let me look at the graphic. I want to see what the graphic said.
Because
for a guaranteed world title shot, it's not for number one. It says Casino Gauntlet match for a guaranteed world title shot. That could easily be a chip.
This might, yes, I think you're right. This is probably going to be a Money in the Bank-esque contract situation.
If that's happening, Hangman Page should win.
Haven't they done that already? Was it for? Yeah, it was for the Luchasaurus chip, right?
It was for the Luchasaurus chip.
Mm-hmm.
I think Luchasaurus's face should be on the chip.
I agree. He should be the heads and
poker chip.
Other people that could be in this, there's rumors about Michael Oku coming in this company. This will be a good
Bobby Lashley.
Bobbert Lashley, Ricochet.
What the hell happened to him?
He's prepping. He's hanging out on his wife's butt.
Right,
I mean, I think those are all plausible people. If I had to pick a winner, I think the very obvious one is Hangman Adam Page.
Jay White got reported he could be back soon. I could see him make a surprise return here too.
That's true.
He's good in these matches.
I agree.
He's good in both of them.
Anyone from CMLL making that flight? Hechicero could. Hechicero's in town.
Hechicero's there. I could definitely see Hechicero. Probably wouldn't put Zack Sabre Jr. in this. He just won the G1. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
He's in town.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're running out of spots.
Yeah.
This match would have to go like 40 minutes if we keep adding people.
Oh, the Beast Mortos versus Hechicero.
This is one of the matches I'm most excited about, though. Like, I feel like the floor for these matches is like a 4. Like, they're just so exciting.
2 of them.
So much fun. Yeah, all 2 of them have been great. Ospreay can't win this, so that's a fun part of it.
I think Darby should be in this and win again. Yeah, I think to me the biggest obvious person I would pick is Hangman Adam Page to be the winner. I think that's a fun idea.
Mm.
Because then if it's Swerve wins, then it's very obvious where we're going with that. If Danielson wins, I think it's more fun with Adam Page.
Imagine if Danielson won and Hangman cashed in the chip and murdered Danielson to end All In.
I would love that.
I think
Well, I
it'd be the
don't know
greatest.
about All In. It might be like All Out or something, but
I would love.
If rumors are to be believed, we'll see.
Could you imagine though? Like if
Mhm.
they ended All In, Danielson's having this great moment, and then Hangman becomes the biggest heel in the history of AEW by murdering the man in the middle of the ring.
Mm-hmm. I'm down.
Who says no?
Who says no?
Probably Tony Khan. But you know what? It's fine.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. AEW World Tag Team Title match: the Young Bucks versus FTR versus the Acclaimed.
Who the hell cares?
I could care less. This
Talk
is
about running in place, by the way.
Yeah, if you complained about Hook versus Chris Jericho,
this is worse. It's literally the same
this
thing.
is the
Plus the Acclaimed.
Same matches last year, plus the completely past their prime Acclaim.
Yeah. I think someone had a great tweet. I think it was Stephanie Chase that said, you know, all these wrestlers that are trying to learn from like the Hogans of Jericho's of never putting over young talent, that's not good enough. Look at Billy Gunn and his role. You know, forever low card guy that doesn't take any bumps and somehow never loses anything. And is in, I was like, it's a great tweet.
Remember the Billy Gunn Jay White match?
Oh, I wish I could forget it. This match does nothing for me. It is the epitome of the tag division. It is the epitome of the 2024 Young Bucks. No offense, people. I know Young Bucks fans get angry about that, but listen, it's true. They don't care anymore. So why should I care? Mm-hmm. That's my take. Why should I care about this? Who do I want to win this match? Probably FTR because they're around.
I want it to be a 3-way draw and the belts go into an abeyance. The belts stop existing.
Yeah, we're actually going to get rid of the tag belts.
Yeah.
You know who should be in this match? The Beast, Mortos, and Roosh.
I was going to say Lucha Bros, but yeah, I'll take it.
Well, shit. They were supposed to become trios champions here, not tag. Which is very funny, by the way. Remember when we were pitching All In title matches for the Young Bucks and we said the Lucha Bros? LOL. I would have still done the Lucha Bros even though that they want to leave.
That's 100%. I would still do that.
Because this stinks. No one cares about this match. There's no heat to this match. The champions are non-existent. I don't need to see FTR and the Young Bucks again. And the Acclaim stink.
Yeah.
Shout out Anthony Bowens. Get out of there, man.
One of the best guys in the ring. Well, I don't know about it. Wouldn't mean the best guy in the ring. I mean, these guys are still like fairly good wrestlers. It's just it's so heatless. I mean, there is like heat between, I guess, FTR and the Acclaim, but like I don't care about it because I don't care about the Acclaimed. The Young Bucks do nothing.
Between me and this match, actually.
The Young Bucks have decade of being on top of the ball and always forefront in like the revolution of modern wrestling in terms of, you know, the past couple decades. They are, I don't know what the fuck they're doing or what they think they're doing.
Did CM Punk win?
Well, he's fighting over a bracelet, so I don't know if he won.
Yeah, but like he might.
We all lost.
I think we all lost. Truthfully, I think you're right. CM Punk definitely didn't win, but he didn't lose.
Also, this match being practically like, I mean, the fact that like we're throwing in every single tag team into this match is a crazy.
Every single tag team, all three of them. I need them so quickly to get to Kyle and Roderick Strong.
I know. I think it could be the gauntlet match where that fight
them versus FTR. Save tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
In this company. Actually, overall, tag team wrestling is pretty bad this year.
Roosh, Beast Mortos, Kyle and Roddy.
That saves wrestling for me.
I mean, OGK bumping up, I wouldn't mind it. And now that they're out of the ROH world,
that would be cool. They're good.
I think that's a solid, like underhand, you know, kind of group. Yeah. I think that's solid.
Think about how great this tag division will be when Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara get bumped up.
Everyone's dunking on Dustin. I don't understand why we're all dunking on Dustin right now.
I don't know. He's like 55 years old and has 2 titles. That's probably why people aren't happy. I don't care. It's
He's
Ring of
gonna
Honor.
retire soon, so why
Like
not?
that's my take. Who gives? It's Ring of Honor. Why do I care?
That's the other thing. Is who gives a shit? It's Ring of Honor.
Also,
all of this is because they're in Texas. He wouldn't have any of these titles if they weren't in Texas.
you know what you know what's funny? Like with the tag belts, whenever Edge comes back, you know they're just gonna reform Edge and Christian eventually and probably give them the tag belts. So, whoop-de-doo. Why am I caring?
That's the other thing, right? Is that this match in another life was probably going to be the Young Bucks versus Edge and Christian.
Well, that hurts. That hurts to think about.
That may be also a reason why the Young Bucks crap and everything for the past several months has not been great, because this whole summer was supposed to be them again against Edge and Christian eventually.
Do you remember Revolution when John Moxley and Claudio were a team and they beat FTR and never got a tag title match and never teamed again? Because I do, and I think that'd be great.
It should not be the Acclaimed. It should be Claudio and Moxley.
Yeah, damn right it should. That'd be great.
That three-way, I'm way more excited than that three-way.
Mark Davis, talking to you right now. We need you. We need you. Not you, Kotobushi. We need you, Mark Davis. We need help.
Hell, I'll take Jericho and Omega at this point. I'll take something.
No. You don't mean that. You don't mean that.
I get Omega out of that. I don't care.
Oh God, we're in desperate times.
AEW World Trios title in a London's ladder match.
What?
The London's ladder match.
Are they British ladders?
These are British ladders made by British hands. The Patriarchy defending their titles.
So they're wooden.
They're much like their teeth. They're wooden. Versus House of Black, versus the Bang Bang Gang, and versus a fourth team that is undecided. Did you say that they are deciding it at Cardiff?
Yeah, I sure did.
What is that? What is that match?
I don't know. They didn't say it. Hold on. You wanted this company to announce that?
Yeah, I want them to announce matches on television. Is that?
Well, you have Chris Jericho versus Tommy Billington on that show.
Fine.
Who the hell wants that? Who asked for that?
Not me. But
Big Bill versus Hook. Now that's a real match.
It should be Big Bill versus Tommy Billington. I mean, come on, what are we doing here? the Bill's right there.
Yeah, so they didn't announce it. Oh, wait a minute. It's happening on next week's Collision, not Dynamite, but that's also in Cardiff. So
okay. And that's probably taped, I assume, at Cardiff.
Yes, it's taped on Wednesday.
Okay, so that's fine. So maybe
who spices up this match? Who's flying? You know, we're trying to get a flying team in here, right?
Who could be flying in for a trios title match here? That but is a surprise on a taped show.
Look at the roster. There's not many options. Hologram, Lee Johnson, and
the Beast Mortal.
We've plugged him into 7 matches so far. So yeah, Bandito.
Oh, okay. The Beast Mortos, Roosh, and Bandito. Ricochet, Hologram. Let's get a bunch of ladder fucks over here. Ricochet, Hologram.
Has Hologram ever been in a ladder match?
I don't think so. He's about to be, baby. Ricochet, Hologram, and
the Beast Mortos.
Now we're talking, baby.
Give me Big Shotty. I'm trying to get Big Shotty on the show.
I'll love a Big Shotty. I'd love me a Big Shotty. AEW TBS title match. Mercedes Moné versus.
Wait, who do you think's gonna win?
Oh, I don't give a shit.
The mystery team?
It depends on who the mystery team is.
I don't give a shit. All in 2024.
I think it's probably just going to be the Patriarchy. Unless Edge is coming back soon. Adam Copeland, sorry. Unless he's coming back anytime soon, it's probably just going to be the Patriarchy still. I don't know.
When did you get hurt? Revolution?
Yes. I think so.
Double or Nothing?
Double or Nothing.
Okay, continue.
He destroyed his. What was his actual injury? He destroyed his leg.
Broke his leg essentially.
So yeah, he's probably still out for a little longer. AEW TBS title match: Mercedes Moné versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
This is one of my half matches.
Which half? Camille.
Which half?
Yeah, NWA legend Camille, of course.
That would be a third. No, it's obviously Mercedes because it's a big match. Mercedes, big venue. Obviously, it's like something she's done before. She's performed in the big match. I don't know. Britt Baker's just so bad. Like I didn't watch it, but I was reading that Harley Cameron carried the match yesterday. That's not good.
I haven't watched the match yet, but that doesn't sound great.
That sounds bad. Now, who can carry a match? Mercedes Moné. So that's a good thing. The problem with this match is that the build has had nothing to do with the two. I feel like everything's been about Britt and what she's doing outside of the ring, which is a shame because like this is the biggest match they have in the women's division.
Yep.
Ultimately, Mercedes isn't winning. And I said this to someone. It's really funny that
you don't think Mercedes is winning?
Oh, I meant Mercedes is winning.
Okay.
I think
Camille,
that's the only
thing. It was like Camille's there. She's gonna get involved.
I think that's the only thing I'm for sure about with this match. Everything else is could be really. It could be bad. It could be solid.
We could get the rare great moments out of Britt Baker.
That's true.
You know, she has put up great stuff in the past. It's not out of the question. She's against a great opponent.
She has the right opponent to do that. But I said to someone this week, wrestling's really funny. And the reason I say is because Mercedes Moné is going to wrestle Britt Baker in a 50K venue on Sunday, right? And it has probably 0% chance to be better than the match where she's going to wrestle in front of like 3,000 people 6 days later against Momo Watanabe. And I think that's just funny. Like, I just think wrestling's funny like that. Like, obviously, I know which one's the bigger match, but I also know which one's the better match. And also, my other favorite thing about Mercedes is she's just handpicking opponents, and we have accepted this life. Could have picked someone else for this show. Just saying.
No, but if you're handpicking somebody, it's the same reason like Bryan Danielson gets picked here, right? It's the biggest match you do at the biggest show.
Yeah, and I hope Britt does well.
Yeah,
for the sake of the match. I don't like Britt at all, but I want the match to be good because I like Mercedes Moné a lot, and it just adds to her case if she can get current Britt to have a good to great match. I think.
Yeah, I think this match is really up in the air. I think of all the matches, there's very much like up in the air energy of I don't know how this is going to go.
Yeah. This feels like the most guaranteed winner, truthfully, out of like the whole card. Because like you're not taking the belt off of Mercedes.
Yeah,
you just got it on her. But it's the big match, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes at the very least.
Me too. TNT title match. It's also going to be a coffin match. Jack Perry versus Darby Allin. That coffin match Stip got added last Wednesday. What do you think about this match, and what do you think about the coffin match Stip?
I'm very excited about this match. Very excited about this match. He now has a House of Torture title. Shouts out to Jack Perry. You look at that and you're like, shout out to Evil. I think this is going to be great. And I think if the main event wasn't the main event, it'd have the chance to be the best match on the show. Truthfully. I just think the main event's going to be such otherworldly because it is Bryan Danielson's potential retirement match, essentially, right? Like that's the idea of it. So it's like, yeah, good luck beating that, buddy. But I think this is going to be awesome. They're going to destroy each other. There will be real glass. Cry me a river.
One pitch the idea of the coffin just being a glass coffin.
Oh God. Oh God. That would be terrifying. But this should be awesome. They're going to destroy each other.
There's 100% going to be real glass. Remember when Darby Allin dove off the ladder at Revolution through glass?
I
This is
still get terrified about it.
1000%. It's gonna have a bunch of glass in this.
I showed non-wrestling fans that one time, and they're like, "Did he die?" I was like, "No, he's fine."
No, he's actually planning to climb Mount Everest.
I was like, he was trying to climb Mount Everest like a week after that. It didn't work out, but
You got hit by a bus too.
he got hit by a bus. Oh my god,
This guy's had a rough year. Oh man,
he's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm very
by the
excited
way.
for this match. I think Jack Perry and Darby have a good energy. I like what they've been doing lately a lot, especially Jack Perry. The coffin match, obviously a Darby specialty, should be
Yeah.
great. And at the very least, if it won't be a glass coffin, I think we're going to open up that coffin and then someone's going to dump a bunch of glass into it.
The winner is going to be called the best pillar.
Oh, that's the title, the true title that's on the line.
Yeah,
The best pillar.
Yeah, the other pillars are busy fighting for an American title and the Ring of Honor tag titles. So the worst pillars.
Yeah, I think it should be good. I think there's no doubt this is going to be a great match.
Prime Darby's the only one without a title, by the way, out of the pillars.
Hey, I don't know. Team up with who's somebody that has a poor.
Let's put them in a tag team.
AEW American title match, MJF versus Will Ospreay. It feels like this has got to be Will Ospreay, right?
Yeah, obviously. I don't.
So why is it going to be MJF?
It can't be MJF. It can't be MJF. This match needs to be about, I don't know, a third as long as the first one. So give me a nice 20 minutes instead of 59. No, I think Ospreay's winning for sure. I never really have wavered on that. I think with the Pac announcement, it's like, okay, the Pac versus Ospreay all out. That's a signature great match for that show 2 weeks later as well. Very funny again. I bring it up every time that the two British guys not wrestling each other in England, but in the middle of Chicago, which, you know, they call the England of the US. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. Or you're welcome. I don't know if that matters to anyone.
Yeah.
Great crowds though, so I guess it's fitting, right? Chicago has a great crowd. England has a great crowd.
Mm-hmm.
No, Ospreay needs to win this. I'm done with the American title thing.
I'm also done with the Tiger Driver thing. More importantly,
oh my god, you're so right.
Being built around the Tiger Driver. The question is, the match. The one problem with this match will have is that it all comes down. Nothing in this match matters. I'm about to ruin this match for a bunch of people. Much akin to a bloodline match in WWE. Nothing in this match matters until the Tiger Driver spot of the show happens. Right? Nothing about this match until we get to Ospreay teasing the Tiger Driver or ultimately doing it. It won't matter. And it'll be a tease first, and then he won't do it, and then something will happen where he'll either do it or he would lose.
Yeah, he's gonna hit it and win.
I think that's what I would do. And
mostly because I just want it to end.
This story.
I don't want to call it the worst story in AEW, but it's pretty bad because it's been going on for a long time, and it's just silly. Like sometimes when he I don't want to do this, it's like, dude, you're going for the world title. Just do it.
Well, I love Kyle Fletcher going to him and be like, why are you not hitting this move? Danielson's about the main event in Wembley. He's fine.
That's reasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's gonna hit the move. He's gonna win. Crowd's gonna go crazy. It has to happen that way. And you get back on track. We get away from MJF, please. The problem about MJF is he's not going away.
When did MJF return?
It's a great question.
Double or Nothing, Dynasty.
The one before Forbidden Door.
Double or Nothing?
I don't know. Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing. He returned to Double or Nothing. Yeah.
Because he had a match with Hechicero on Forbidden Door. That's what I remember.
The classic. Classic Hechicero match. He's like, I got a taste of CMLL. Let me give me Templario.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this match has the potential to be really good. I think the biggest problem about this match is the Tiger Driver of it all. And I think that nothing ultimately matters. And I fear that the crowd, like the problem is, and these guys can definitely do it. They have to out wrestle the knowledge that the only spot that matters is the Tiger Driver. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like they have to wrestle so great that people forget about the Tiger Driver spot and that being the ultimate like point of this match, so that when they come back to it, it surprises people again.
Yeah.
They have to put in both an all-time performance to have this be a great match.
Well, you're not getting that from MJF, so
I don't necessarily think I am. And I'm not saying this is going to be a bad match per se. I think these guys are obviously going to wrestle great. I think it's just nothing's going to matter until the Tiger Driver. And I think that sucks.
well, Dave gave it 5 stars already, so whatever.
He's primed and loaded. He's got the 5 stars loaded up in the holster. And he's like, all right, here we go. So yeah, I mean, look, it's fine. Where do we go from here? Does Fletcher make an appearance? Does Garcia make an appearance? Like if we're doing the tease of the Tiger Driver and then him ultimately not doing it, and if he's still going to win, what is going to have to happen for him to suddenly be like, let's go? Does Garcia show up? Does Fletcher show up?
Nothing should have to happen. That's the problem.
I know.
Nothing should have to happen. This guy beat the hell out of Garcia, beat the hell out of Fletcher.
Mhm.
He stole the title from you in your first title match. There's nothing that needs to happen, but you're absolutely right. Something's going to have to happen. What a stupid story.
Stupid story. Great match. Gonna be a great match. Stupid story.
I won't get my hopes up yet. I really don't like MJF matches
I know.
these days. I don't know what happened. he's a character.
Yeah.
He's a meme wrestler in a main eventer's body.
AEW Women's World Title match: Toni Storm versus Mariah May. Now, if this match was happening 5 weeks ago, I think I'm undoubtedly excited for this. I told you when that angle happened over Slack that I have concerns that they won't be able to keep up the heat and it'll get a little cold, and I think it certainly has gotten a little cold.
I don't think it'll matter in the building. I think
right.
people are going to absolutely eat it up. But I agree. Like you kind of you did the best part of the angle so early. It's like now we got to get there. It's like, oh man, that's not easy.
People complain about build when it comes to Paige and Swerve.
Oh,
Talk about build for this match. They built this match officially 5 weeks ago and then couldn't come up with enough ideas to do.
Danielson and Swerve did like the opposite, right? They started off really poorly, right? Like people were like, what do we do with Swerve and Danielson? And they've only kicked it into high gear.
He built it. They took the
right. But it's weird. Like the way they did the angle for this was so good that like I honestly don't care that that they did it then, because it was so good. It was so perfectly done. And I think the crowd's going to be so into it. And I think these two are going to have a hell of a match. I think there needs to be blood. There needs to be they need to go the extra limit in this match. That's what the match and feud plays to.
It also has everything that I will want in a Toni Storm, which is none of the dramatisms. Like
that's why I'm excited for it.
None of that works here. It all has to be bloodthirsty violence.
and that's the one thing they've kept consistent in the build here, is that every time they see each other, they want to kill each other type thing. Right. And I think that's going to be the best part about this match, is that Toni Storm's going to be Toni Storm, not Pose Toni Storm.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called. What is she called? Timeless. There we go. I could not think of what the hell her nickname was. I was like, what is it? I know she has a nickname. And I think that's the most exciting part about this match. It can be great. It should be great.
Mm-hmm.
It has a pretty high ceiling.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has that. Like, I think it has a solid floor as well.
I think at worst it's 3.5.
I think so too. And I think it could be, I think it's going to be really special. I'm really looking forward to it. I agree with the build. It's been like, it's cooled off a little, but when they get into that building in England for these two. Obviously, it's a huge spot, and you play the video package right before it. It's like, aha, right,
I think you're right. I think ultimately won't matter. I would have liked it to be a little bit more, but it's also like it's not the main event, right? Like
Right.
if you just remind the people, especially
If it was main eventing, this would be
yeah,
a
if
problem.
it was main event the pay per view, then it'd be like, oh, this is super cold. If this was the semi main, probably, this is, England's own Mariah May versus, Australia, but practically England's own Tony Storm. In a probably bloodthirsty, violent match that they show the video package right before to everybody. I think this will definitely succeed. I think you're right.
I think you'll have a great crowd for it. I think I'm fired up thinking about it, which is a good thing. And Mariah should win, by the way. I think
Agreed.
it's time.
Agreed.
Time to crown her. Tony's had a run. It's been ups and downs, but there's a reason Mariah has been positioned in this spot for the past year. It's for the moment of winning the belt. So
now, that being said, it feels like it would probably continue if Mariah wins.
yeah, that's fine. You can have like a stipulation match.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen down the line. Which
That's
if this match
natural.
succeeds, I'm down for it.
Exactly. It can be something ridiculous, like we went over with Chris and Will.
I mean, that's right there. In WCW would have been a She Won a Pole match.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It would have been.
First Blood is really what it could be. AEW, well, this is your main event. AEW World Title versus the career of Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson, of course, versus Swerve Strickland.
The ceiling of this match is the greatest AEW match of all time.
I know, right? This match, so well built. Danielson rules right now. Swerve, the
other planet.
Elevation. Talk about elevation. Obviously, we had issues with Hook. We had issues with the tag team division. They're nailing the main event scene.
Yeah, Swerve couldn't feel more like a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like he embodies it. He gets it. And I think the funny thing about like how great this match can be, they could wrestle a basic, solid wrestling match, and it's gonna be 10 times better than that because of the drama of Bryan Danielson's career being on the line. The crowd's going to be losing their minds because again, it is Bryan Danielson in the main event. I remember it was about a month ago. I said, I'm not really feeling this.
No, you said it specifically to me, and I said, I think you're going to be crazy in 5 weeks.
And you were absolutely right. I am so invested into this match. And I think Swerve's done the majority of the heavy lifting. I loved the Eddie Kingston promo they put on Collision last night. I don't know if anyone's seen it. They should, because it's Eddie essentially saying, listen, I'm not coming back anytime soon. I'm here to cut this promo on one person. That's Danielson. What happened? Who are you? Where's the Danielson that was, beating me all around the ring, right? What happened to that guy? And I think it's great that we're all trying to get that Danielson back out. And when the final countdown plays on Sunday, it's going to be special. It is going to be an emotional moment. That Green Day video on Dynamite was incredible. The way that they had Swerve pretty much murder Wheeler Yuta was incredible.
And then say cripple Bryan Danielson, then kick his head off and then do the yes chant.
I think
menacing.
There is a shit chance that Swerve wins this match. Not a big chance, but a chance.
10%. I'm at 10%.
And that's enough. That's enough for me because the drama of Bryan Danielson's career ending is enough,
Actually, no, I'm not 10%. I think I'm at 50-50. Hold on. No, I'm like 60-40 Danielson.
I think 60-40 is fair because I think it wouldn't be crazy to think Danielson would willingly give
100%
Swerve this moment. Now, do I think they could just bring him back in like 5-6 months? Absolutely, because like this is wrestling, nothing holds.
Mm-hmm.
But it would give Swerve so much.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's giving Swerve a lot, win or lose, because it's the main event of All In against arguably the greatest of all time,
One
and
of the most legendary
arguably,
wrestlers.
yeah, maybe his last match ever. That gives Swerve a lot. I think these two are gonna have just an incredible match. I think Danielson's probably gonna try to go for the Crimson Mask. Like I'm just all these things, and if he wins in like the heroic Danielson way that I've seen him do so many times, it's art. I have no problem with whoever wins this match. I really don't. Um, yeah, it's considering how I was feeling at the beginning. This is a very deserving main event for the show. And don't get me wrong, I think Hangman Swerve could have easily built up a very deserving all-in main event just based on their history.
Agreed.
But you can't beat the final match of Bryan Danielson. You just
You cannot. And I think that point is the biggest fix of this build that elevated this match into the next thing. I would have loved if it was earlier established. I would have loved if it was established last year.
Yeah.
But we had so much confusion about I'm going to stop being a full-time wrestler. And we were, I'm going to start doing part-time stuff. And, all these sort of things. And people just being like, oh, well, this isn't, Bryan Danielson's going to wrestle after this. So the match, loses a little steam, right? And we've had that a little bit in the build as well. But once they decided, once they officially confirmed, you know what? Let's just make this a retirement match, basically, a career match for Bryan Danielson.
Career title versus career.
Once they pulled the trigger on branding it as that, and not just title for title and the last full-time match for Bryan Danielson, that is the moment where it shot up into the atmosphere. If they pivoted to that earlier, would have been even better. Maybe they could have sold even more tickets. Yep. But it was a great move. And it was something I talked to you, is that what this match needs is to be a retirement match for Danielson, career match on the line, because all of this hoopla of what's happening is destroying all the aura surrounding it. As soon as they drop that, this match has gotten so much more exciting. I truly think Danielson has to win this match. I agree that Swerve can be made more of a guy if he beats Danielson, but I think the build and everything he has done this year has elevated him so much that I honestly right now don't know what more you could do for the guy. Him beating Swerve would be Swerve beating Danielson, in my opinion, would be the cherry on top for Swerve. But he doesn't need it. This build has showcased that he doesn't need this win. Danielson needs this win.
Yeah.
Danielson's the guy that his career is on the line, and he's going to showcase and bring AEW into the next era where they'll probably announce the TV deal the same night or whatever. Swerve could have this win, and it would be great for him, and everyone would be happy with it. But if he loses, no one's going to take a single dime away from Swerve Strickland.
No,
because he lost to the greatest. He has, as someone else has said, awakened the beast. He has poked the wrong bear.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for Bryan Danielson to be the ultimate babyface in front of 50,000 people.
Yeah. The aspect of this, right, is Danielson's done this before. He knows how this goes, right? He's done it on the biggest stage and captured the magic. He's done it in both roles, helped capture that magic, right? He's done it as the guy winning. He's done it as the guy losing. And for his entire AEW run, he has been the best wrestler in the company. I don't no matter who he wrestles, right? We're almost a year removed from the Ricky Starks match that just kind of had to happen, and it was unbelievable.
Yep.
We are a year removed from him missing All In. He was that close, right? But he had to miss it. This is, I think you're absolutely right with Swerve. He doesn't need to win. He's gonna get another title shot somewhere down the line, or title reign somewhere down the line, because he is probably the top guy in the company now moving forward. And I think he gets a lot from the handshake with Danielson post match as well, right? Even win or lose, it doesn't matter. If he wins, it almost makes him a heel again.
Yeah.
I've kind of thought about that. I was like, but if Danielson
Him winning is crippling Bryan Danielson.
I'm sure Danielson would like raise his hand and stuff, but so it wouldn't matter. But like that's just like a funny thought.
Him winning is Bryan Danielson doing a stretcher job.
Yeah, that's true. I think Swerve's gonna hit him with ungodly, terrifying offense, and it's going to be Danielson fighting back. And when you get that fire up in the middle of All In, they are going to lose their minds. Unlike last year, this is a main event that is fitting of All Elite Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what, despite the ups and downs to get here in terms of public perception, right, with the Hangman Swerve stuff, and a bumpy story to start, but we've essentially stuck the landing. Obviously, there's one more TV show to go, but they've stuck the landing on the match. This is what AEW is supposed to be, and this is the last time Danielson's main eventing a major stadium show, probably ever.
Yep.
So I'm not going to complain at all.
The question obviously is what happens after this. If Swerve wins,
Hangman kills him.
Yeah, Hangman kills him.
He actually cripples him.
If Danielson wins, I think it's way more interesting, especially if Hangman does win the number one contendership title shot, whatever it is. I think moving forward, it's way more interesting because do we get a proper reign? Or let me hit you with this wild, dumb answer. This dumb possibility, right? I joked that we'll have two number one contenders. What if Danielson wins the title and says, but I promised my daughter I would retire, and gives up the belt? We have a number one. We can have a title match with Darby and Hangman Adam Page.
Oh, that would not. Oh God, that wouldn't be good. Don't do. Here's all I'll say. Do not do that until Dynamite. You're gonna do that.
It would not be till Dynamite. It wouldn't be till Dynamite.
Okay.
I don't think I won, but I got beaten so badly that I won't be able to recover, and I want to be there for my children, so I have to give up the title belt.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. I agree. I want the title. I'm selfish. I want the title reign.
I rather him be in the middle of the promo and Hangman just come out and kill him. And then if it's a cash in type thing, then be like, let him finish that sentence. Cause I like, don't do that,
Yeah. I want him to ultimately lose it at World's End. Well, actually, no, I take it back. I always forget. He could lose at World's End, but
Wrestle Dream.
Wrestle Dream. I was going to say that I want him to lose it to whoever wins the Continental Classic, but I keep forgetting that doesn't matter anymore.
No. Hopefully they change it this year. That would be nice. Please. Maybe I would like to think he took enough critiques over the past year of people making fun of this stupid belt. But we'll see. I would agree that would be how I would do it, but assuming that's not changing, him having his final match of the time being in Washington, his home, at Wrestle Dream, kind of makes sense.
I agree. I think that's probably the better spot, knowing that the Continental Classic is dumb. It doesn't matter anymore. I think you're right. I think him having the match in Washington makes sense. Who is it against? I don't know. Page, Swerve. Hey, I mean, Takeshita had a great G1. Let's put him in. Why not?
I asked this nicely. For the love of God, don't make it Moxley.
No, it shouldn't be Moxley.
That would be really bad.
It would be a great match.
It would be a great match, and I'm sure they'd tell a great story. But if all of this is to lead to another Moxley title reign, I'd lose my freaking mind. I think he would too, honestly.
Yeah. I'm fascinated to see where we go from this. I'm fascinated how Swerve and Page potentially spin off from this. I love the idea of Page having I love the idea of Page having a title shot.
Yeah.
And maybe let's say a Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to cash in on Danielson.
He wants to cash in on Swerve.
Yeah. He's waiting until Swerve wins the title.
He just goes, get the title back.
But he has to help Swerve win the title so he can take it away from him.
That's the one thing I don't want this main event match to have. Keep Hangman out.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a little worried about him costing Swerve. That should not happen. And I don't think they will. But
no, because I like that's kind of the reason why I pitched that idea is that I like the idea of that he doesn't want to win it from anybody else. He wants to take it from Swerve.
Yeah.
If Swerve loses the title, like if anything, he should attack Danielson during this match. He shouldn't. Obviously, I think no interference is needed here. But the logic there would be he should really attack Danielson to ensure Swerve retains the title, and then cash in that night and beat Swerve or something like that. You know?
Yeah. I think this is gonna be incredible.
Yeah, I think no matter what, this will be incredible. 48,000 right now, tickets distributed as of 2
Pretty good.
days ago. Pretty good. I think they could probably get a good amount of walk up. I think it's probable that they can get to 50,000.
I think they get to 50K.
I think it's certainly plausible. This was 2 days ago. So we'll see what happens moving forward.
Yes, it's 30,000 less. I understand that, but it's still going to look packed. It's still going to feel full.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going to be exciting.
It's also the second biggest attendance that they've ever had a show.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great match. Gonna be hopefully a great show. I won't count my chickens on that one before they hatch, type thing. Because I don't know if it will be a full, completely great show. There's a lot of we'll see here and there, but it should be a great show with a great crowd, great atmosphere, great main event.
I agree. Other show that's happening over the weekend is RevPro's 12-year anniversary show. There are other programs, other wrestling promotions doing indie shots around Wembley, but this is the 12-year anniversary.
The only one that Ryan cares about.
Correct, Mundo, in the Copper Box Arena in London. They had this show last year, obviously, for the 11th-year anniversary, and it was a really good show, I thought. And obviously, they're doing another show here. So real quickly, that card, Connor Mills versus Ethan Allen. Alex Windsor, Lizzie Evo, Mercedes Blase, Nina Samuels, and Sapphire Reed versus Mystery Person, Debbie Keitel, Kanji, Nightshade, and Riho. Not that one. Donovan Dijak versus Gabe Kidd. Honestly, Scotty, I'm very interested about that one. I feels like that could be really good. RevPro's Undisputed British Cruiserweight Title 6-Way Scramble Match. Neon, CMLL's Neon defending his title versus El Phantasmo, Leon Slater, Cameron Kai, Will Caven, and a mystery person that is yet to be announced. Probable AEW person, I would have to suspect. Who is it going to be? I got no idea. But this should be another solid scramble match they typically do. Tomohiro Ishii versus JJ Gale. If you remember the RevPro match last year, the show last year, JJ Gale was against Zack Sabre Jr., and now he's here against Tomohiro Ishii. And again, if you remember last year's show, Tomohiro Ishii had a great outing of Luke Jacobs. They're still elevating guys like JJ Gale. He will probably lose to Ishii, of course, but I think this match can undoubtedly be a great affair for Ishii and Gale. Ishii has been great, so you have to imagine. RevPro, Undisputed British Women's Title Match. Danny Luna, is not defending her title against Stephanie Vaquer, but it has been announced that she is defending her title against Stardom's Mina Shirakawa. So I think that's a very fun, interesting replacement. So you get some nice TNA versus Stardom action here. Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr., winner of the G1 Climax, again versus Hechicero in a singles match.
Yeah. This is why we're here, folks. This is why we're here. Their first match was great, by the way. If anyone never checked that out in Arena Coliseo, right? It wasn't even in Arena Mexico, which is awesome.
No, it was in Hechicero's house.
You're damn right. And Hechicero won. So ultimately, Hechicero is actually the G1 winner.
And I believe they wrestled once prior in PWG years ago, and I believe Sabre won that one. So I believe they're 1-1. So I believe
I could put a lot of money on who's winning this one.
Everybody, I think.
Us.
And then the main event, RevPro Undisputed British Heavyweight Title Match. Michael Oku defends his title against Luke Jacobs. I think over the past year, they've done a great job elevating Luke Jacobs into this role. Plus, you have the mixture of Michael Oku rumors about him potentially being signed away to AEW. I think undoubtedly this makes for Luke Jacobs to win this title. He had a great match last year with Ishii. He had a great series of matches with Ishii. I think he's a great up-and-coming guy in the UK scene. Luke Jacobs, Scotty, 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Way too young for his own good and way too great for his own
I
good.
think Noah's taking him, by the way, because they're doing the progress thing, and he's
Mhm.
on those shows, and he even cut a promo. I think Noah's going to get to him before New Japan does.
Which stinks, but 23, I'm fine with. New Japan's got its own issues to deal with right now. So
Hey, that's okay. Noah's been the more consistent company, so I'll take it.
So yeah, I think undoubtedly Luke Jacobs. I mean, it's an indie show, so you're not really, everything's kind of expected maybe in terms of outcome, in terms of us nerds and what we know and how.
Would you call me?
But I think that no matter what, I think this is all the makings of a fun show. You have a great main event with a new star being made, probably a great technical wrestling of Zack Sabre Jr. and Hechicero in TNA versus Stardom. Ishii again, who's wrestling great this year, by the way, against JJ Gale. A probably great high-flying scramble match. A great brawl of Gabe Kidd versus Dijak. I think this is all the makings for a very fun show. What are your thoughts on the RevPro's 12-year anniversary show in London?
I'm shocked at how little AEW's on here.
Yeah, I think that AEW spot is undoubtedly that 6-way scramble match, but I agree.
I feel like they should have one match on here. Like there's got to be somebody that could have wrestled on here out of your entire roster. And no, Mina is not an AEW wrestler. Thank you. Yet.
Tomohiro Ishii, not an AEW wrestler. Kind of, yet.
Yeah. I mean, I think Mina will be by next year, but I'm sure Ishii won't, but it's kind of funny. No, I think that's my one thing about the show. It's lacking All Elite. I know the next day is their big day. I get it. But like you could have tossed on here like a Pac or
who would you put in that 6-way scramble? I think
the 6-way scramble?
Yeah.
Big Shotty.
Yeah. I'm honestly completely down with that of putting Big Shotty Lee.
He's good in those matches.
He's great in those matches against other contemporaries.
Why is it okay? Serious question. Why doesn't like Kyle Fletcher have a singles match at this show?
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Is he selling an injury? That might be it.
I think Daniel Garcia would have fit this, but
Ricky Starks, is he available?
The Evolution is televised.
He finally gets flown out to a Wembley show when he works RevPro.
Yeah, they should put Big Shotty in that match. It's gonna be like Nick Wayne or something. I'm gonna lose my mind.
It could be Orange. I mean, Orange was in the last scramble match when they were in town for
in
February.
Lee Moriarty, maybe.
Pac is not a bad shot. He's more.
Pac just feels too big for the British Cruiserweight title match. We'll see. It should be a fun show, I think, overall. If they can contain that main event. Does not need to be super long.
If you get wherever we're coming from, it's probably gonna be 30 minutes. It's gonna upset me.
You told me Anthony Ogogo wrestled like forever against this guy. So.
Yeah, but I think the most exciting part for me, Scotty, and I think for you, is that this could be the end of Oku and RevPro, and it could be the dawn of Luke Jacobs. And I think you will probably be way more excited about Luke Jacobs holding that title than a Michael Oku.
The dawn of Luke Jacobs. It's a nice ring to it. That could be a way to make me interested.
Speaking about ways to get Scotty interested, Stardom 5-star. What's happening over there, Scotty?
Oh, it's tiring. It has been a tiring time, but we are well on our way to the end. We got 2 weeks left as of yesterday, which is pretty crazy, but we are flying through this. So the 5-star has been pretty good. The Blue Stars.
I just noticed that Noah started the show, their tournament, like a whole week early, right? I think.
Yeah.
We both had our night 7s today.
Today was 6. Technically.
Oh, was it 6? Oh, yeah.
So they did a double shot one day.
That's true.
Yeah, but yes, we've had 7 shows.
Correct.
Overall, which is pretty crazy.
But go ahead.
Yeah, so It's been a very solid tournament. Red Stars B has been the MVPs by a lot, and the Blue Stars B have not by a lot. It's exactly how I expected it to go. So far, there's a lot like in terms of eliminations. We are so deep into this tournament, and we are doing some stupid things along the way. So let's get to that here.
Yeah.
So
Who's been eliminated?
so in Red Stars A, the only wrestlers still in it to advance out of the block are Maika, Hazuki, Natsupoi, and Sendai Girls Minami, meaning Konami, Ruaka, and Yuna Mizumori are all eliminated.
Fine.
Yeah, Konami's a little bit of a shock just because, I kind of thought they may want more hate involvement, but I'm okay with it because her tournament hasn't been that good.
But she could play spoiler at the end. That's the perfect spot for her.
Yeah, Maika has been not that great in this tournament.
I look at my screen and I see Utami. Who's Maika?
Oh, yes. Maika Hayashishita has not been very good in this tournament because she's just changed herself dramatically to the point where it's like, I don't know who you are anymore. I think she's trying to figure it out.
Hold on. Who is she? Saya Kamatani? What?
Yeah. Red Stars B is the best block by far, but there's a big but here. They've eliminated the favorite.
Is Tam Nakano?
Yeah, so Tam got eliminated. She's 0-4, and she has a World of Stardom title match on the final day of the tournament.
I believe, if I remember correctly, she was eliminated, and then she got the title challenge immediately after she was eliminated.
Yeah, so the idea of the story is Hate wants to completely destroy Tam, so Natsuko wants to have the title match. So the idea is Natsuko wants to destroy her, but she gave her a title match, so it's stupid.
Give her the opportunity. I want to destroy you by giving you an opportunity to have everything you want.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and they're also just taking away from the final. Now the final is not the most important match on that show, and it's not good. It's not smart. That being said, Momo Watanabe is also eliminated. She also has a title match, as I said earlier, against Mercedes Moné. She went 0-4 to start the tournament. She did beat Tam, so she finally got a win. Saya Ida is also eliminated. But Saya Ida, let me tell you, folks, what a run she's on. She's having an incredible tournament. I would watch every match from Red Stars B if I was to tell anyone like what to watch from this tournament. Picking and choosing is a lot easier from everywhere else.
Who's left in Red Stars B?
We got Azumi at 8 points. She's currently leading after being the first person to beat Mayu Iwatani in a singles match this year. That happened today.
That's a big time push.
Yeah, Mayu Iwatani is still in it. She's pretty much a lock. She's 3-1 unless she loses her last two matches, which she's not. You have Mei Sarah and Tomoka Inaba all still in it. So kind of a big shock there, but it's a lot more exciting, I'll say, in terms of like who's going to make it. Yeah. But it's stupid that Tam's not winning this tournament. It was the biggest layup of the story, but I understand what they're going for, I guess. Tam's working, but here's the funny thing with Tam. She's working so hard right now. I'm like, oh, she's getting something out of this. Like she's putting in some of the best performance I've seen from her in a long time. I'm like, she's gonna get, and if she just beats Natsuko Tora after all this, hilarious. Just I will laugh out loud.
If when's that? Does that title match got a date?
Yeah, the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix on the 31st.
Which is what have they announced the card? Which is the main event?
They haven't done that yet.
Which do you think is the main event?
Probably the world title match. Yeah. Which is not ideal, but we'll see.
Man.
Yeah. Blue Stars A, everyone is still technically in it. But I think it's because they've had less matches than the Red Star side. So Tuesday's their next day. A lot of people will be eliminated. But the blocks are as follows: Ano and Starlight Kid tied at 5 apiece at the top. Shuri and Xena both have 4. And Anna Jay, Koguma, and Miyu Amasaki are at 2. I think I'll tell everybody about this. Anna Jay had the best match of her career against Xena. in this tournament.
I
So,
heard.
baby steps for young Anna Jay, which is good to see. Blue Stars A has been easily the second best block of the tournament. And then Blue Stars B, no one's eliminated yet, but they will be, like I said, as of Tuesday, we'll start to get eliminations. Yosaya Kamitani undefeated at 3-0, absolutely killing me in this tournament. We have Hanan at 5, Risha Serra at 4, Shu Suzuki at 3, Rana Yagami, Saki Kashiwa, and Tekla at 2.
Is who has what are we? How many nights do we have of this Stardom?
We got Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's all the rest of the block action. Then they have one quarterfinal, then the final night.
So 2 things. Number 1, where can people watch your coverage of this?
Yeah, you can check it out at youtube.com/@Scott E Wrestling. I am reviewing every single day on there. I will be doing today's show after this. That will be up. It's been pretty cool getting a lot of people to watch those. I don't know why. Hopefully, I realized that I'm doing them so quickly. I'm like, people probably haven't even watched these shows yet. But anyone that's watching,
I texted you that. I was like, I think what you're not just that people are watching them so quickly that they might not have even watched the shows. I think there's a good chance that Stardom has become uninteresting to a lot of people, and they're using you to follow along and keep up with what's happening in the tournament.
Well, which is pretty honor if that's the case. Yeah, I'm doing something unique. I'm giving my match ratings at the end, which is my average chart. I have an average chart for like who's MVP and whatnot. So hopefully that's helping people kind of pick and choose along the way. Obviously, like my match ratings don't define every single match, but it gives you a ballpark, I think, of like what's good, what's bad. So yeah, you can check
other
that out.
People's tastes align with yours, then it would be a good way to
like I said, youtube.com/@Scott E Wrestling. Very simple, very easy to find. We are up to day 5 on there, like I said, but day 6 will be up probably within the next 2 hours or so. I just got to record, probably only be 20 minutes or so. And yeah, we'll have a bunch more throughout the week. We have another tournament coming up soon that I'll probably do it for because it'll just be on weekends and that makes my life a lot easier. But I'm having fun. I'm having fun with the recordings.
That's good
because it feels like a way to, because like I do weekly podcasts, obviously, to talk about it. It's like, well, if you want to just hear all my thoughts about that, just go see that. It's a really tough time to be extra busy because obviously we have the All In and stuff, but like I actually have things to do in life now, for once. So it's like, okay, I have this, and then like tomorrow, Marigold's, it's Julia's last show, kind of, except she's wrestling again over the weekend.
Arrived Derchi.
Yeah, Arrived Derchi. It's her last show, which has big matches on that. Risa Nakajima is retiring this week. Then there's 3 tournament matches next weekend, while also doing All In. And it's Julia's last show. And then the Dream Star starts the week after. So I am busy. But hopefully I'm helping the folks that are still interested or trying to be interested. And like I said, youtube.com/@Scott E Wrestling.
The Arrived Derchi match, the Gauntlet match, made me think of a question I was going to ask you, but I'll ask you here before anything else. So Rossi made a point. I think it was Rossi. Someone made a point of that anyone from the entire Joshi world can be in this match. Will anyone from Stardom show up, or is this some masterful gambit political move that Rossi has set up that if no one from Stardom shows up, be mad at Stardom, not me?
Yeah. Because like here's the thing, Suzu Suzuki would be there if she could, but she definitely is not going to be allowed to be in it, which sucks, obviously. But yeah, it's smart by him. I'm sure they'll have someone outside of Stardom in it, so it's like, see, someone, because they're surely is connected to a lot of people. But yeah, no, you're right. It's a smart move by him to be like, well, anyone can come wrestle a 1 minute match.
Doors are open
because the Gauntlet's just 1 minute intervals. It's not a lot. It's just like show up, have a match, say goodbye to her type
And
thing.
so many of them are going to end in draws, so it's not going to be a political.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's what Io did. It's what Kyrie did. It's what Hameka did when she retired. It's a Rossi tradition. Kagetsu, obviously. Yeah, it goes back years and years.
I named one.
That was pretty
to that extent. To the extent, will Kagetsu be there? Could Kyrie or Io be there?
No. No, I don't.
They count as the Joshi world.
Everyone I guess does. I'm interested to see like if there's any surprises. I just know like the idea came about because Utami was like, well, we gotta do something before you leave. They're saving that match for some big shows down the line instead of rushing it, which I get, but that 1 minute will be pretty cool. And the last thing I'll say here is that Stardom introduced a rookie this week that is like the golden rookie. She's a former amateur. She's an amateur wrestler who's like a high succeeding amateur wrestler. 17 years old, and they've already announced, like they just introduced her and they said, oh yeah, she's debuting at First Stream. I was like, huh? We just learned about her, and she is essentially having the same story that Utami did. She got into wrestling because of Julia. And she is joining right as Julia's leaving, much like Utami did when Io was leaving. So something to think about there. But she is like the golden rookie that feels like is going to be huge long term for them.
Connor Houston also just brought this up. Isn't there also CMLL?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't think we're necessarily going to review that because the Grand Prix are basically just, they're just like one match, right?
Yeah, it's one match. I mean, we can review it. It's a one match, but like we don't have time.
So we'll see how that goes. Is there anyone, just real quickly, that has impressed you during this tour that is elevated from your expectations? Similar how New Japan.
Yeah, for sure. I think May Sarah. Well, she's met my expectations, but I think for a lot of people, she's probably jumped above. Saida. Saida's been an absolute killer. I mean, she's had an incredible year, but she's been. I call her the Goto. She is Goto of these tournaments. She's just in there and has these great inspired matches. I think Starlight Kid switch back to babyface has really impressed me. She is like a different wrestler again. And while she hasn't had her big matches yet, she still has Starlight Kid, Shuri, and Sayori. I think Xena has really just amazed in what she's done. I mean, having that match with Anna Jay, I was like, all right, so she's already one of the best foreigners in Stardom history. So,
that's interesting. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad there's some shining light on this tour for you.
Yeah. You didn't hear me say a single thing about Blue Stars B, and we're gonna keep it that way.
I forgot you didn't even say anything about Blue Stars B.
It's been bad. Okay, just a real thing. Like my highest average wrestler in that block is Suzuki, which not a big shock.
Yeah.
Her average match 2.67
out of 5.
Out of 5. I consider you're having a bad tournament if you're under 3.
Yeah.
Everyone in that block is well under 3. Sayaka is at a 1.92. And Tekla's at a 1.83.
Hey, at least you're having stuff to talk about because it's like either great matches, terrible matches, or fine matches.
A crazy booking. We got a lot of crazy booking. But yeah, it's been fun. I like doing the reviews, so if you enjoy listening to them, that's cool. I'm really excited to do today's review because it was one of the best shows they've done. We've had 2 great shows back to back, so hopefully we can keep rolling on because otherwise I'm going to lose my mind.
Over at Noah, we haven't really gotten a lot of top tier matches or bad matches. It's been a lot of like 3 1/4, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 3 1/4, 3. All right, this is all good. Like it's been a lot of like, this is great. This is real. This is solid, serviceable wrestling, and nothing standouting since that Oiwa Kiyomiya match. I think
you've lost so many wrestlers too.
Yeah, Yeah, we've lost a lot.
You lost Go and Wagner.
We lost Go, Wagner, and
And
Katoge.
Katoge, right?
Yeah, we've lost a lot of people along the way. I mean, technically, this entire tour. I mean, Ogawa obviously retired as well during this tour, which we don't have a lot to say about Ogawa right now because I don't think we are the reputable sources to talk about Ogawa in any capacity. But there's definitely people out there. Emerald Flow Show talked about him really well, so I would recommend that. But yeah, and it's been fun doing them on patreon.com/cannotpod, $5 tier. It's been fun doing the reviews, and I've been keeping along with the attendance and keeping up the block action. I got some advancement scenarios for you based off of today's results.
Okay.
They only have one show left before the finals, and that is next week on Sunday. Same day as All In London. We'll have a show then. And then the week after that will be the finals matches where they're also going to have like a billion title matches as well. So there are 3 people of each block that I believe are still alive, that through my assessments are still alive. Block A, you have Jack Morris, Kaito Kiyomiya, and hanging on by a thread, Ryohei Oiwa.
That's crazy. Okay.
So on night, what is this? On tomorrow night, let me give this to you. The main event of night 8 is the main event is Jack Morris versus Kaito Kiyomiya. If either man wins that match, they win the whole thing. If either man win the main event of night 8, they win the whole thing. They are the winner of Block A. If either of them draw, then that opens up a scenario where Ryohei Oiwa can win. Ryohei Oiwa to win needs that match to go to a draw. He needs to beat Masa Kiyomiya. He would then have the tiebreaker win over Jack Morris and would ultimately just draw against Kaito Kiyomiya, and we would have to get some sort of playoff. We would get a similar draw if Kiyomiya and Morris went to a draw and Kiyomiya wins over Oiwa, then Morris and Kiyomiya would draw. We have some like weird tie-breaking scenarios that the main event draws, but it's probably not going to matter. It's probably just going to come down to Jack Morris and Kaito
They've
Kiyomiya.
done the scoreboard. Like they've done the play-in before. They did it last year. So
that is true. It's not out of the realm. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. But
I don't mind those 3.
The only play-ins that could potentially happen is Jack Morris and Kiyomiya, which is the main event here. Why not just make the decision here? Or Kiyomiya and Ryohei Oiwa. But he does have a weigh-in, but it's very, very small.
Yeah, so it's probably Jack or...
Yeah, I think it's either Jack or Kaito Kiyomiya. To me, obviously Kiyomiya being the champion, that feels like a Jack Morris win.
You would think so.
I would think. It is Noah. We've had some weird booking things here and there.
I actually wouldn't be shocked if they just gave Kaito the tournament win.
Yeah. Well, there's an interesting part if they do give him the tournament win. Because in Block B, you have 3 people alive. Manabu Soya, Tavion Heights of NXT, and Kano. If you could give Kaito Kiyomiya the win on Block A, and you could get in Block B Kano the win, and you're going to get Kano versus Kaito Kiyomiya again. Which after they said we're never wrestling again.
It would be very Noah.
All Kano has to do is win his match against Yoshiki Inamura, and he wins the whole thing. He's in. Win and you're in for Kano.
I like the world with Tavion Heights.
Tavion Heights, for him to win, he needs to beat Oka Sasaki, which is a champion. Keep in mind. So I don't know.
I don't think so, but okay.
He would need Inamura to win or draw versus Kano. And then, ideally, if Inamura beats Kano, then I believe Heights is officially in. Because then he would have the tiebreaker. No, Soya has a tiebreaker over him, but he would. Oh no, it would be a top playoff between Heights and Soya at 10 apiece. If he wins, Sasaki Kano loses. It'd be a tiebreaker playoff with Soya and Heights. If Inamura and Kano draw, then it is an unbreakable 3-way tie between Kano, Soya, and Heights. The only way he can get in is basically a playoff match at this point. So he's probably out, but things can happen.
I think Kaito versus Kano is very possible.
Manabu Soya is the only other guy. He is completely done with his matches. He wrestled his last match this morning.
He must have had an injury guy.
I don't know if he had an injury because everyone's had also like a night off scheduled for the tour. That's what the N1 is also kind of weird and wonky, is that everyone gets a night off. That's why like sometimes you've had shows where you've had 6 matches, sometimes you had 5. A couple shows I think you had 4. So like it's been a little wonky in that sense, but I don't know if if he had a night off, if he was going to face Wagner. I think he might have been facing Wagner. I'm not sure. But right now, so he's completely done. He's topped off at 10 points. So the only way for him to go in right now is he needs Inamura to beat Kano. If Kano draws, he would have the tiebreaker over Soya, so Kano would beat him. So he needs Kano to lose against Inamura. Kano would be then stuck at 9, and he has also the tiebreaker over Heights. So if Heights wins, it doesn't matter. So all Soya needs is for Yoshi Ikinamura to beat Kano, and Soya's through. That's the only thing. He is. It's not a win or in situation for Soya. It is, I'm in unless Kano can win. That's the only thing that's stopping him.
That's simple enough.
Yeah. So Kano, winner, you're in. Soya, I'm the backup if you lose. Heights, unbreakable 3-way tie, baby.
Alrighty then.
So yeah, I think there's a real possibility that it could be Kano versus Kiyomiya. I like the idea of Soya in there as well. I think Kano versus Kiyomiya is very interesting. I think Kano versus Morris could be good. Soya versus Kiyomiya or Soya versus Morris could also be interesting. I think less good than Kano, but Soya has also been very solid. So those are the advanced scenarios that I've discovered. Everyone else, to my knowledge, is completely out. No one else can win in tie-breaking situations or whatever. So it's basically 3 people per block. 2 guys are basically kind of winning or in, and the third guy of each is some weird tiebreaker situation where we have to do a playoff.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the N1. That's the N1. I think what has it been a great tour? No, I don't think it's necessarily had the heights of like the G1 per se. Is it better?
One great match.
It had definitely. Well, it had a couple of 4+ star matches. I would say maybe I think it was like 3 or 4 4+ star matches in my opinion. One
I haven't seen one yet, so I'm very behind. So if you wanted to tell me what those were, that'd be great.
Let me look at my night notes. I definitely talk all of this on patreon.com/countoutpod on the $5 tier. I think my 4-star matches, my great matches, Kano versus Titus Alexander, Oiwa versus Kiyomiya, obviously, Dragonbane versus Luis Monte. There's been a lot of stuff on the cusp as well, and obviously this is all my all my opinions, and they're not sanctimonious in any capacity. But those are all my matches. Those 3 matches, I believe I said, are my 4+ star matches that I thought were all great. A lot of this other stuff is very close. So I don't think the ceiling has been good as the G1, but nothing's been like overtly bad. Like I don't think anything like the person that's probably been the worst in this tour is honestly probably Josh Briggs. Which, even then, I don't think he's just been bad. I think he just hasn't gotten over in any capacity. And I think he's doing a lot of NXT face as well. But I don't think he's been overtly awful. Like I don't think we have any Saya Kamatanis in this N1. So if you're looking for serviceable wrestling tournament, the N1 is where you'll find it. If you want upsetting booking and match quality decisions, look at Stardom. And if you want emotional through lines of Goto and Zack Sabre Jr., G1 Climax is where you'll find that, I guess. And those are probably the 3 differences currently with these tournaments. I mean, how many like 4+ star matches do you have in Stardom right now?
Oh, I have a good amount. That's never a problem. Like I said, Red Star's B block has probably been the best block I've watched all all the tournaments for my taste. But I think I have 5 or 6, so it's been good.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Honestly, in my
you
opinion.
probably have higher ceiling than the N1, but I think your floor is way lower.
Yeah, for sure. Which I expected going in. You know, we have a heel trying to learn how to be a heel while wrestling a heel. Her versus Tekla. You just got to see it to believe it, man.
Yeah.
Also, Tekla keeps doing this thing which hurts her matches where she yells "Get out of the way" in English to the fans, and then they don't move because they don't know what she's saying. So she has to yell at them again. I'm like, you speak Japanese. Like,
Yeah. Well,
what
she's
is
doing
this?
that on purpose, obviously.
I know, but it's like it's a hilarious bit that continues. It's like, just say it. Just like, I mean, they'll learn it eventually, I guess, but like I always feel bad for the fans.
Yeah. Well, if you want more of my N1 thoughts, again, patreon.com/countoutpod, $5 tier. I'll have an episode out later today discussing today's match results and those kind of match qualities and today's attendance, which I haven't seen yet. Hopefully it's better than night.
Today's show wasn't live, by the way.
It wasn't live, but what does it say when it's going up?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay, perfect. Then I can do that tomorrow. That's actually easier on me. What was the attendance though? Oy! I'll talk about that attendance number. The worst of the tour.
Wasn't it Sendai Pit though?
Yeah, it was a Sendai Pit. So that's definitely a part of it, but that is undoubtedly the worst of the tour. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, Scotty. 388 is that number, by the way. That's real bad. That's real bad. Well, I'll unpack that more on Patreon. So check that out, patreon.com/countoutpod. And I'll just do the plug here right now, Scotty. I started a new series on the Patreon as well, on the $5 tier. But the first episode, obviously, always $3 tier as well. Mascara Madness, I should say, is a new series where I'm randomly picking and watching a mask versus mask match from around the globe. In between Triple Mania and the CMLL Anniversario shows, we are going to discuss random mask versus mask matches from around the globe, from Mexico, between AAA and CMLL, from WWE, from other indies in America, from Japan. We have a lot of mask versus mask matches on the list.
What was match 1?
Match 1 was the Triple Mania 25 match between Psycho Clown and Dr. Wagner Jr., where Wagner was unmasked. I got all my thoughts on that match and everything kind of leading up to it over on patreon.com/countoutpod, both tiers 3 and 5. Got to get those plugs, baby. Last little bit here today before we go, real quickly. I don't know. Did you watch the All Japan show?
No.
All right, then real quickly, I'll give my thoughts. All Japan Summer Action Wars, big time show here, obviously. Because 2000 in arena, in the arena, Tachikawa Tachichi in Tokyo, Japan. I watched 3 of the matches here. The Gaora TV title match, the opening match, Fuminoru Abe defeats Seigo Tachibana. They had a really good match recently where I believe that's the match where Abe won the title off of Tachibana. And here, still very good. I didn't like it as much, but they did a good little bit where they went head to head, that sort of spot, Scotty, where people go head to head, and then they stayed head to head, left the ring, and then left the arena, and and just continued being head to head the entire way, and then until they fought into the outside, and then they ended up having a brawl in like the 200s area, 200 300s like balcony area.
Oh, okay.
So it was a nice little fun little spot. It was more fun, less hard hitting, but it was still very good. Other matches I saw were the Saito brothers successfully defend their All Japan World Tag Team titles against Hideki Suzuki and Suwama.
No, I got you.
Not that good. A lot of. I think I went 3 on it. A lot of slow guys hitting each other. Not anywhere close to Jun Saito versus Kento Miyahara. Not anywhere close of Rei Saito versus Yuma Anzai, not even Hideki Suzuki or Suwama versus Yuma Anzai. A perfectly serviceable old man semi-main event. But the big story here, obviously, is your main event, which is the Triple Crown title match between Yuma Anzai and Yuma Aoyagi. The Yumas battle it out with Aoyagi defeating Anzai, ending his reign here and becoming the new Triple Crown champion. Before I get your thoughts just on like that sort of title switch here, the match itself, pretty good. I think it went 3.5, 3 3/4. I think it went 3 3/4 maybe. It not a great start and like an all-time, like I think Yuma Anzai's reign has been really great. But what a kind of like disappointing last match here.
Mm-hmm.
Like you really wanted a great match here, and Yuma Aoyagi could definitely give that, but it wasn't chemistry. It just, for whatever reason, it just never kind of got into the next atmosphere. They definitely got there into the closing stretches, but it was just a whole lot of nothing for most of the match for 26 minutes and 41 seconds. So sort of disappointing. I think I went 3.5. Maybe I went 3 3/4. You want that to be 4 and above. 3.5, 3 3/4 is nothing to really say is bad, obviously, but disappointing in that sense. Do you have any thoughts on Yuma Anzai's title reign coming to an end after this sort of a solid run he's had?
It's upsetting. I didn't want him to lose to Yuma. I want him to lose to Kento.
On the next challenge?
Bias. Yeah, for personal bias. Because checks notes. Let me go find where Kento is in my mat. He is 67th this year.
Yeah, a little low. And there's some fear that he is going to be winning the tag titles at some point with Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Hey, shout out to Davey Boy Smith Jr. I don't know what's the problem. No. I just think like
they teamed up, by the way, together and defeated Cyrus and Hokuto Amore. They aren't the next challenge. I believe it was Ren Ayabe and who's Ryuka Honda are the next challenge for the Japan titles, but still.
So I'm checking my wrestler of the year last year, right?
Yeah.
Kento Miyahara was top 5.
Pretty good.
Now he's 67th. It's just been such a quiet year for the ace of this company, and it's probably part of my interest, or part of the reason my interest has fallen out a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I think going with Yuma Anzai was absolutely the right move.
But I think part of that step away. I think part of that step away was that so Yuma Anzai had more room to play with.
Yeah. It's just like would have liked if we just went back to him, not Yuma. I mean, Yuma was number 8 for me last year, so I guess it's like he's good too. It's a shame to hear that the match wasn't like the killer top of the line match that they can have. I'm sure these two could have that down the line. But it's fine. Not every match needs to be a home run. I just actually watched I didn't catch up on anything I said I was gonna catch up on this week.
You're killing
it's fine. But hey, baby steps. I watched Anzai versus Honda this week.
All right.
And that was really good. Really good. So next is Saito. And then I'll watch the Oyaki match. We're getting there.
Yeah. Weirdly, the best match of his entire run was him versus Rei Saito, in my opinion.
Which I think has been kind of widely regarded. So I don't think you're on.
I don't think I'm out of line. I think it's why if you told me who of this roster is Yuma Anzai going to have his best match with, I don't think many people would have guessed Rei Saito.
No, I really liked this Kento match. That's right now for me. That's the top one. But I obviously haven't seen the Saito match yet. Exactly. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope Anzai did a really good job of getting them back on track after the Nakajima stuff. So
and pretty good, obviously drawing a lot because he's doing a lot of title defenses, and obviously the title still draws. But I mean, 2,000. I don't think the N1 hasn't gone over 1,500 the entire tour.
They did 2,000 for that show. Wow,
they did 2,000 for that show. I think every show except for the Suwama title challenge, every title defense that Yuma Anzai had has been over 1K, with 2,000 being his last one.
His last 3 matches have been title matches.
He's defending the title.
I like the idea that he got too overconfident or something like that, or the idea of he worked himself too much and that's why he lost the title.
Mhm.
I look forward to many more Yuma Anzai reigns because listen, he's gonna only get better.
Yeah.
He's like that's the way to look at it. He's 25 years old. He's just started wrestling, and he's pretty much the man for them. Yuma getting the title back. He's still wicked young too, so that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
They're doing the right things in All Japan, so that's cool with me.
And and to be clear, the match, I'm saying the match wasn't great because I expected this from two great wrestlers.
Right.
It was disappointing. That the match is still really good. The finish is fantastic.
You just want like a match of the year type stuff.
Maybe not even a match of the year. I was hoping just like 4.25, 4.5, something like that. Match of the year, maybe contender, but I was expecting just a little bit more from these guys. But what's also interesting about going to Aoyagi is that I think they've done really well in terms of attendance this year, and they've definitely grown, I think, a lot. But like you can't going it to Yuma Aoyagi, I think, is an interesting move because you also can't remember that like who held the title last year when the attendance was really rising a lot. It was Aoyagi, like him going to him might not be a bad idea to potentially grow even more, So
Right.
I think All Japan's making a lot of solid moves right now in terms of growing their new players.
I agree.
And where that leaves out guys like Kenta Miyahara, obviously that might leave him in a title match of Davey Boy Smith Jr., and that's not ideal, but who knows? In case you're wondering, Kenta Miyahara 64 is my ranking for him right now.
They have wow, that's so close.
Mm-hmm.
We have what's it called coming up next, right? The Royal Road.
Yes, they did announce it. They did announce it already with the entire bracket gimmick. I can pull it up for you if you like. There are a couple. There's nothing too. Here, let me download this real quick. Just do the should be shoe. How do I download? I don't remember anything. Open image, a new tab. Let's save images. Save, and then I'll go over here to brand and click on overlay.
Stop.
What are you talking about? And then I can't do it because it's a web page. It's a .web page.
Oh my
god!
All that for nothing.
I can share my screen. Yeah, share my screen. Share screen. We're at the closing stretch of the show, and I'm wasting so much time.
I gotta record another 20 minutes here, bud. Oh my god, this is like the worst made bracket of all time.
Yes, so we have Aoyagi versus Honda. We have Dan Tamura versus.
Shit, they fly through this tournament.
I don't remember this. Yeah, 9/14 to 9/22. It's a week-long tournament. I don't. Who's this guy? I don't remember this guy. Oh, you don't see my mouse.
What guy?
Who's the fourth guy on the left?
Shotaro Ashino?
Yes, Shotaro Ashino. Thank you.
He's good.
So Dan Tamura versus Ashino.
Who the hell's the white guy?
I'll get there. Kento Miyahara versus Hideki Suzuki.
That should be good.
And then Suwama versus the white guy.
Who's that?
I don't know who that is, but according to Joel Redman is the person. He apparently worked All Japan a lot in 2019. So Joel Redman, I don't know who Joel Redman is. Okay. I don't know where he works or what he is. I think he's British. Wait, hold on.
British.
Wait. Oh, you want to know who Joel Redman is? Lock in for this. Scotty, are you locked in?
Is that Tommy Billington?
No. Do you remember in NXT when Adrian Neville was the tag team champion with another dude named Oliver Gray?
That's him?
That's Oliver Gray.
That's crazy, dude.
Yes. Former tag team champions with Adrian Neville in NXT pre-takeover days. They will be facing Suwama.
That's crazy.
We got
cage match.
Yuma Anzai versus Ranayabe, Davey Boy Smith Jr. versus Hokuto Omori, Jun Saito. I believe this is Jun Saito. I always forget which one's which. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's Jun.
Versus, I don't know who that is. I think that might be Cyrus.
That's Cyrus.
And then Rei Saito versus
Umarashi.
Correct. And all of this is happening from 9:14 to 9:22.
Damn, they really loaded up some first round matches and put some stinkers out there.
Yeah.
Stinky.
Not a great. I don't know. It's the Royal Road. It's always the first round stuff that might be a little stinky. It's all going to happen in the last couple matches, but I don't know. There's possibilities for some interesting stuff here.
Kento's not winning. I know
do you think Kento's beating Hideki Suzuki? Probably.
For the love of God, please! I do not want to see Hideki Suzuki versus Suwama again.
It would be what? How? Yeah, let's see. What would it have to take for Kento Miyahara to win? He would have to beat Hideki Suzuki.
Then probably Suwama.
Yeah, probably Suwama, which, they just challenged for the tag titles. If they're going to challenge for the tag titles, Kento Miyahara, then he just beat both of them. Then he would have to beat either Yuma Aoyagi, the champion, Riku Honda, Dan Tamura, or Ashino. It's plausible. It's plausible for him to get to the finals. But we will see.
It's so funny, like, trying to book this company because, like, it's the same 5 guys. Like, why am I trying to make this overcomplicated?
Well, if you want more All Japan thoughts, check out Jessica over at Jumping Knee Pod. I was suddenly forgetting the name of the podcast. Jumping Knee Pod. That's our All Japan podcast here on the Countout Network. She will certainly have an episode out later this month, maybe sooner rather than later now that the title switch has happened. I don't know when the Kento match is. I have to look that up. But Jumping Knee Pod, great podcast. She just put out a beginner's guide to All Japan 2024. So if you want to sort of catch up and know what we're talking about, if you don't know what we're talking about, that's a great resource. She put out that podcast for the Jumping Knee Pod. It's also on the YouTube channel, Count Out Podcasting Network, Wrestling Network YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, Jumping Knee Pod, great resource for all your All Japan conversation. We don't talk about it a whole lot here, but she definitely talks about it a whole lot there. That's it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio.
That's it. 3 hours later, that's it.
3 hours later, that is it. Hey, we can talk about more stuff if you want to talk about it.
No, we're good.
We did a lot of the plugs already, Scotty, but if you had any more, dish them out here. And also, what is your match of the week?
This is our last morning episode for the next couple of weeks.
Correct.
Hope everyone enjoyed it. Follow me at Scott E Wrestling on Twitter, of course. Like I said earlier, YouTube.
He's dying. He's dying. Oh God,
it's over. Forget it all. YouTube.com/at Scott E Wrestling if you want to see my 5-star Grand Prix reviews each and every week. It's a busy week in Joshi the next couple of weeks, so check out the 5-star Joshi show. You want to hear all my other thoughts on everything going on, whether it be Marigold, Stardom, whatever it may be. I think that's it for plugs this time around. Match of the week, since it's a 5-star Grand Prix and I didn't talk about any of the matches, it makes my life a lot easier. Let's go with Mayu Iwatani versus Azumi from today. We'll just do fresh off the brain. There's been some really good ones, but that one was great. Azumi has a new finisher. It is a double underhook Canadian destroyer.
I think someone said that she was doing a Canadian destroyer tiger driver.
Yeah, so she just does the pedigree thing and then flips over, which is very cool looking. And then she does the Azumi Sushi pin to win. Good for her.
Interesting that she's the first person to beat Mayu Iwatani in a while. She has a brand new finisher. I don't know, Scotty. I think there's a big possibility that she could win this whole thing.
There's a shot. I mean, it doesn't make sense in story, but you know what? We don't make sense anymore. So why should I discount her chances at this stage?
Exactly right. Well, again, patreon.com/countoutpod. If you want to keep up with the N Wondering over there. Also, if you want to listen to more episodes of Mascara Madness, I keep wanting to say mascara. Mascara Madness. If you want to hear more thoughts on these sort of random mask versus mask matches from around the globe, I'll say here, Scotty, the first one was Dr. Wagner Jr. versus Psycho Clown. The second one, Scotty, is from Mexico City, Mexico. WWE.
Oh, Sin Cara versus Sin Cara. Yeah.
Correct.
I watched that this year.
Second episode will be Sin Cara versus Sin Cara. Mystico, baby.
Have you watched it yet?
Not yet. I'm watching it soon.
They chant Mystico.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's actually a good time.
I also got reports on the backstage politics, the backstage thought and politics on why the original thought was for Mystico to lose his mask and be unmasked in that moment, and how it got changed.
Well, there's this the best part of that entire match is after when Booker T says, "Oh, he's so ugly."
Yeah, so
he should be wearing a mask, man.
There's a lot to unpack in Sin Cara versus Sin Cara, but we will talk about that on episode 2 of Mascara Madness, which will come out definitely this week.
If that doesn't put butts in seats, I don't know what does.
My match of the week as well, real quickly, is from Chicago, Illinois, from 1953. Rocky Colombo versus Larry Chen. I think it's Larry Chen, NWA Chicago. So that's right, NWA lives strong. I watched the match from 1953 this week, and Scotty, I went 4.5 stars. It was great. It was so good. You know what's great about it? Obviously you got your Lou Theszes and your Vern Gosling.
Who are you?
I'm Ryan Nicey. Thanks for asking. This match was decades before its time. I honestly highly recommend it. Decades before.
I'm not watching a match from 1953.
Scotty, when it was like watching Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask, version 1 or version 0, where it's like decades ahead of its time. And then that match will happen later in the 80s, 70s, I think. And then that will be decades before its time. So it was insanely great. I would recommend it. It's free on YouTube. 1953. Chicago, Illinois. Opening match on the card. Rocky Colombo versus
hold on. We're in the midst of all these tournaments in wrestling. We're in the midst of so much going on. Yeah. And you got out of your way to watch a match from 1953?
Well, I also watched another episode of Total Nonstop Action from 2002. Do you want me to discuss anything on that card, or?
Oh my! I watched Avatar for the first time. Blue people.
SAT versus Chris Harris and James Storm did 3.5.
Hey, I'm talking here. I watched the most highly grossing movie or whatever for the first time ever, and I walked away asking myself, "What?"
Did you like it?
It was a good movie, but like I couldn't believe it was the highest, like, whatever movie ever.
I haven't seen Avatar 2, but I thought Avatar 1 was overrated.
Oh, absolutely. It should not be. I thought it was good, like good story, fine premise, whatever. But I was like watching, I was like, this is the highest the biggest box office.
And won the Oscar, if I'm not mistaken, for best.
Oh, brother! I always had like this thing against it as is, because I was like, is it really like? And then I watched it, I was like, it's good.
Yeah. I think a lot of what's going for it was just like the technical involvement of like all the CGI stuff. Yeah. I think, but it's also weird that like it's probably got a lot of praise because of that, but like
some of it kind of looks bad.
we can't give Gollum back some love back in the day, you know, like. Yeah.
I watched The Lion King after. That's better. If anyone's watching the regular one, not the live action.
The quote unquote live action.
No, not the live action. I watched the original Lion King.
Mufasa when that comes out.
I don't know.
I don't know either. We'll see. If Beyonce's in it, I'm there.
4.5 stars on The Lion King. Thanks.
Great match. Great show. I was gonna say great match. Anyways,
95 out of 100. See you later.
That's it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio.
Get me out of here.
We'll check you out next week after All in London. Goodbye, everybody.